morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the KOTY Columbia Cable simulcast. I'm Kirk Williamson. I'll be calling the play-by-play tonight as the Tri-City Americans take on the Portland Winterhawks. These two teams have met twice before, both times in Portland. First game was close, 4-4, going into the last minute of the game. Tri-City's called on an icing violation. Face-off to the right of Frank Furlan. Face-off won by Portland. Back to the point. A shot deflected into the stands. Same thing happens. Again to the right of the Tri-City Americans goalie. Second shot caught by the goalie. Third time the shot. 32 seconds on the clock. Portland wins the draw once again. Shot deflected in by Sean Clouston, and the Portland Winterhawks get a 5-4 win. The second meeting between the two, Portland winning it in a more handy fashion by a couple of goals. The Americans coming off their second home game of the season against the Brandon Wheat Kings, a game that was lost basically in the first 20 minutes of the game. The Americans not playing well against the Brandon Wheat Kings in the first period. The Wheaties come out and win it 6-3 to end their big road trip into the Western Division. The Portland Winterhawks coming off a game on Wednesday night in Portland against the Kamloops Blazers. Portland known as an offensive team, but they really turned it on Wednesday night. The line of Dennis Holland, Troy Mick, and Terry Black doing the damage. Dennis Holland scoring 7 goals, including 5 in a row for the Winterhawks. That's a double hat trick plus 1. 7 assists on all of Holland's goals, going to line mate Troy Mick. Now, these two have played together since they were 5 years old back in Vernon, British Columbia. That may have something to do with it, but they were some kind of spectacular in Portland on Wednesday night. This game being played in the Tri-Cities Coliseum on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, in front of another sellout crowd, the second one in 3 games. Starting lineups for Portland will be at center, number 15, Dennis Holland. He's the man to watch, along with number 22, Troy Mick, the left wing. The right wing in that line will be number 9, Terry Black. Defensemen for Portland, Mike Moore and Roy Mitchell. In goal tonight will be number 34, Byron Defoe. For the Tri-City Americans, their starters will be at center, number 23, Steve Rennie. The left winger, number 15, Steve McNutt. Number 10, Greg Delcourt, will be the right wing. The defenseman will be Rob Krause and Steve Jakes. Frank Furlan the magician, in goal for the Americans, and a new player on the roster for the Tri-City Americans as of Tuesday, Marty Braithwaite, who was called up from Tier 2. He was with the Hobbema Hawks in Tier 2 in the Alberta Junior League. He will be in goal tonight, or he will be backing up Frank Furlan for the next 3 or 4 weeks while Olaf Kolzig recovers after knee surgery performed on Wednesday. We'll be back with the opening face-off of tonight's game in 1 minute on this Columbia Cable telecast. The Winterhawks, an offensive machine with the 2 young men out of Vernon, British Columbia, Dennis Holland and Troy Mick.
There's no doubt about it. Dennis Holland and Mick are coming in very, very hot off of last night when they played Kamloops. Dennis Holland tied a Western Hockey League record last night with 7 goals in 1 game. And Troy Mick was assisting on every single one of them. He also tied a Western Hockey League record with 7 assists as well.
Our hockey broadcast of tonight's game begins in 2 minutes. Thank you. All right. For me?
penalty for that?
Okay, tell me when you start the... Oh, we must be off.
By January.
And good evening from the Tri-Cities Coliseum. Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott as we get ready to get this game underway between the Tri-City Americans and the Portland Winterhawks. Tony, the two teams have been on the ice for their pregame warm-ups, brief intermission while the ice machine came out and did its thing, and we're ready to get things underway. A sellout crowd tonight. Not too many vacant seats, and most of those are outside for a CD's barbecue sandwich maybe, or a cold beverage of one time or another. The officials being introduced now. Here's Kevin Gallant.
Jack Kennedy.
Kevin Gallant introducing the officials. Darren Loras, the referee. Ken Gunderson and Jack Kennedy are the linesmen for tonight's game. As they come out, they will skate around the ice just a little bit and get comfortable. Then the two teams will come out and make their appearance, and we'll be ready to get things underway. What to look for tonight? Well, look for Dennis Holland for one thing, number 15, and his line mate, Troy Mick. Holland and Mick for the Portland Winterhawks have really put on a show as the Winterhawks come onto the ice now, led by their goalie, Byron Defoe. Defoe, wearing number 34, is, well, he is a good one. Out of Duncan, British Columbia, 6'1", 170 pounds, a 4.38 goals against average for Byron Defoe. Now getting ready for the Tri-City Americans to come onto the ice, led by their goalie, Frank Furlan. Furlan wearing number 1. He is 5'9", 165 pounds, out of Nanaimo, British Columbia. A draft choice in 1986 of the Winnipeg Jets. Furlan, the magician, has been to the Winnipeg training camp a couple of years. He played at Michigan Tech, in Houghton, Michigan, and his college hockey, and decided to come to the Western Hockey League, an opportunity for Frank to play a much better brand of hockey and improve, hopefully, his chances to get into the show in the National Hockey League. The rest of the Americans on the ice. Only one scratch for the Americans tonight. Actually, two. You can scratch Shane Cole, number 7, and scratch number 20, Kevin Robertson. Shane Cole, an indefinite suspension. The league will be reviewing the gross misconduct that he received the other night against Brandon. And I see Shane over there along the bench in street clothes. The Portland Winterhawks, coached by Ken Hodge. The Tri-City Americans by John Ulver, assisted by Jerry Johansson. Two teams are now on the ice getting ready, and we'll be back in 1 minute on this KOTY Americans hockey broadcast.
On the left side, number 22, Troy Mick, and at center ice, number 15, Dennis Holland. The coach of the Portland Winterhawks is Mr. Ken Hodge. For your Tri-City Americans, in goal tonight is number 1, Frank Furlan.
There's still a buzz on there. I wish I could get rid of it, but the teams being introduced down on the floor now for the Americans. The line will be Steve Rennie at center, number 12 or number 23, running out of Surrey, British Columbia. Greg Delcourt and Steve McNutt will be the wings for Rennie. Steve Jakes and Rob Krause are the defensemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Singing of our national anthem, and we are now ready to get this hockey game underway between the Tri-City Americans and the Portland Winterhawks. Good crowd tonight, Tony Ott.
There's no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, I want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This is a good time to come out and see it. I think, you know, on the table tonight, everybody had turkey and stuffing, but there's some people out here tonight that would like to have some roast Winterhawk, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think you're right. The Americans would sure like to get back in the winning column after kind of an embarrassing game against the Brandon Wheat Kings on Tuesday night.
Yeah, they're playing a little bit on Tuesday night was a little bit of a letdown. You could actually see it in them from that big opening night on Sunday. The coach gave them the day off yesterday, and we're ready to play hockey.
And on the face-off, the puck chipped loose, and the Portland Winterhawks win it. Goes to Roy Mitchell along the boards. Mitchell digs it out ahead to Dennis Holland. Holland starts into the American zone, has it stolen away. Here's Delcourt. Delcourt across the neutral zone. Delcourt over the blue line, slides it into the corner, right of the net. In after it is Krause. Krause tries to center it, can't do it. Played out of there by Defoe. Winterhawks with it. They bring it up. Holland plays it off his skate. Back for it quickly is McNutt for the Americans. McNutt, but he chipped it right to Troy Mick. Mick with it along the boards. Now Rennie goes in after it. Mick, Holland, and Rennie. A drive from the point wide of the net as the puck slid out to Mike Mitchell, and he blasted it. He knew what to do as the Americans shoot it back down the length of the ice behind the Portland Winterhawks net. Krause tries to steal a puck along the boards, can't do it. Loose puck goes into the Americans' end, and now Sean LeBrun with it. Americans in a line change. LeBrun, Duval, and Spenrath. Actually, with Krause and Kutowitz now at the points. It comes ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun tries to get it across the blue line, can't do it. Back to the Americans in the neutral ice area. Duval with it. Duval passes back now to Catcher. Trent Catcher with it. Shoots a pass up to the Portland blue line. Goes across into the Portland zone. Spenrath takes a whack at it, but Portland steals it away. Winterhawks with it. Kutowitz stops it in center ice. Now Portland with it. They shoot it down behind the Americans' goal. Berlin goes back after it out along the boards. Comes up to LeBron. A shot deflected out front. Jamie Graham got a stick on it and deflected wide of the net. Down in after it goes Duval. Catcher shoots a pass out to Spenrath. Loses it along the boards, but LeBron has it. Here comes Sean LeBron. LeBron across the blue line. Beats his man Biafor, and Biafor takes him down in the corner. Spenrath tries to get in behind the net with it. As they dig along the boards, puck comes back out to Portland now. Jamie Graham. Graham goes to the right side to Fleetwood. Brent Fleetwood dumps it into the Americans' end. Furlan watches it go off the boards. Back for it is Catcher. Catcher for the Americans to Kotowitz. Kotowitz losing the puck. Starts up the boards. Takes a body check there from Hamish Black. Goes into the Portland end, but the Winterhawks have it. Kept in play by Kwiatkowski. Darren Kwiatkowski out front for Nibs. Stolen away by Portland. Winterhawks have it. Portland with it. At the blue line, Gray Eyes. Mark Gray Eyes gets it ahead to Leahy. Leahy shoots it into the Tri-Cities end, and back for it is Sherstenka. Dan Sherstenka takes a big hit behind the net. Now they're going to scrap. The scrap didn't last long as the puck comes back out along the boards. Nibs bring it out to Barnes. Barnes with it. Cross-ice pass. Goes to Sherstenka. Dan falls down. Portland with it. Winterhawks. Now it's stolen back by Nibs. Nibs shoots it into the Portland end. Defoe comes out. He'll leave it behind his goal. Defoe, as it comes out along the dasher board into the neutral ice area, where Sherstenka goes back for it. Dan Sherstenka for the Americans goes on the right side to Jakes, to Nibs. Great pass by Nibs to Barnes. Barnes with it, has it checked off his stick by Middlestead. Middlestead checked there by Kwiatkowski as Barnes digs for the puck. Kwiatkowski, Barnes, and Hamish Black in for it. Comes back out to the point to Jakes. Jakes centers. Backhand shot taken by Kwiatkowski. Blocked by the goalie Defoe. Portland with it, stolen away by Barnes. Big slap shot blocked out front. Back to the blue line. The Americans with it. Jakes has it. Jakes to Krause. Krause flips it into the Portland end. The Americans chase. Goes on goal. Defoe will block it. Portland trying to get it out. They get it into the neutral area, but the Americans are back for it. Back for Tri-Cities is number 12, Colin Ruck. Ruck behind his own net. Takes a big hit, and the puck's tied up there as Ruck ties up his man. Krause goes wheeling in there. Flips it along the boards to Dirksen. Dirksen takes a tremendous hit by Brian Gorley.
I think we have a penalty coming up, too.
Penalty coming as Dirksen and Gorley look like they may be ready to go for it. And Krause in there to protect Devin Dirksen, who gives up a lot of size to Gorley. Oh, check it wasn't Dirksen either. It was Trevor Sen.
And let's see who the penalty is going to be on.
A roughing call
Against the Americans.
Against Tri-Cities. And it will be, no, it was Dirksen in there.
It was.
Devin Dirksen going to the penalty box. He goes at 3:52 of the first period.
You know, the Tri-City Americans have something that they want to show the Tri-City fans. After Tuesday night's performance, they want to come back out here and they want to play their kind of game. They want to get into their kind of style of game.
You hear the fans getting into it now. They've been kind of quiet. I'm surprised. They need to make some racket here. Puck, one draw, won by the Americans, slapped down into the Portland end as the faceoff was just to the right of Frank Furlan. Defoe plays it out for a teammate. It comes out to Graham. Jamie Graham leave it behind for Terry Black. Black around behind the goal. Terry Black goes right to left now, and it comes off the boards to Dennis Holland. Here comes Holland up to the left point. Holland with it, starts along the boards. Delcourt on him as the Americans trying to kill this power play. Portland with it behind the net. Troy Mick. Mick back up front now to Black at the point, and Black loses it. Couldn't handle the pass. Black at the blue line. Rennie goes after it, and the Americans whacking at it. Stick checked out of there by Delcourt. Comes loose in center ice. Jakes with it. Jakes for the Americans. Has to dump Rennie in order to keep it alive. Shoots it back into the neutral zone. Rennie goes after it. Rennie chasing Biafor back with it. Biafor shoots it over to Terry Black. Black's pass checked by Kwiatkowski off his stick. Comes along the boards. Big hit there by Catcher. Puck tied up along the boards. McNutt working in here against Graham. Portland with it as Graham gets it to Terry Black. Winterhawks with it, and their pass stolen away by Catcher. Catcher in the neutral zone. Upended there by Raymond.
There's some good defense out there right now.
There is. Tri-City penalty killers have killed a minute and 17 of the penalty. We have a tripping call against somebody. It goes against the Portland Winterhawks. And that will even things up here for 43 seconds. Kill the Portland. Jamie Graham getting the penalty. It comes at 5:09. And Portland goes 0 for 1 on their first power play. The Americans will have one that'll last a minute and 17 seconds. In 43 seconds when the penalty to Dirksen is over. Faceoff will come at the top of the left faceoff circle to the left of Byron Defoe. Linesman getting ready to drop the puck. Rennie wins it for the Americans. The drive blocked by Defoe. Went straight up in the air, falls in the slot. Rennie digging for it, takes it out to Krause. Krause to Kotowitz. Kotowitz backhands it toward the net. And it goes into the corner where Duval goes in after it. Duval and Rennie kicked out of there now by the Winterhawks. It's 4-on-4. Here comes Portland. Greg Leahy. Leahy gets a great pass to Hamish Black in the slot. Good defensive work by Kraus. Puck goes into the corner. Americans with it. Comes out to Murray Duval. Murray Duval with it. Loses it off the stick to Hamish Black. Jamie Hamish Black. Puck back now to Raymond. Rick Raymond goes on the left side to Middlestat. Plays it off the boards. The Americans steal it. Tri-Cities with it. Here comes Rennie. Rennie one-on-one, and Rennie is dumped by Middlestat. Good defensive work by Portland. Americans defense on the power play as Dirksen comes off the ice. Here's Barnes. Barnes and Kraus. Goes to Rennie to Stu Barnes.
Nice
Barnes
pass.
into slot. Barnes goes to the ball. Great pass from Barnes to Darren Kwiatkowski.
That was excellent stick handling. The passes were right there, and that's what Coach John Auber is just yelling about the other day. The passes were not there. A beautiful pass from Stu Barnes to Darren Kwiatkowski. A happy birthday present to Darren Kwiatkowski, who turns 20 years old tomorrow.
A power play goal for the Tri-City Americans, and their anemic power play puts one in the hole at 6:09 of the first period. The Americans lead 1-0 over the Winterhawks.
That snaps an 0 for 15 power play opportunity in the last two games.
Goal scored by number 24, Darren Kwiatkowski.
Well, there's the call by Kevin Gallant, and the crowd really comes alive now. Barnes getting the assist. And Rennie stolen by Barnes. Barnes in the slot. Shoots it down behind the Winterhawk net as the Americans go in after it. Now Nibbs with it in the corner. Calvin Nibbs trying to get it out to Kraus. Nibbs and Kraus fight for it. Goes into the neutral ice area, but the Americans control it. Goes by Jakes. Ferland will stop it right behind the net. 13:26 on the clock. 1-0 Americans in the first period. Nibbs airs one into the neutral zone. Knocked down by Moore. Mike Moore shoots it in behind the net. Ferland back after it. Leaves it for Kraus. Kraus out to Nibbs. Calvin Nibbs for the Americans. Tried to get it ahead to Barnes. Portland steals in the slot. A big opportunity for Portland, but Black couldn't get his stick down. Now the Americans have it. Here comes Calvin Nibbs. Nibbs goes right to Barnes. Barnes a shot wide of the goal. Comes out to the point to Kraus. Kraus right back to Barnes. Stu Barnes. Barnes for Nibbs. Nibbs couldn't get to the puck. The Americans have to go in after it. Portland with it now along the boards, but Barnes there to steal it. It's Barnes-Arama time. Barnes next to the net. Tried to drag it in. Couldn't do it. Puck's loose behind the Portland net. Winterhawks start to bring it out now. Here comes Mitchell. Roy Mitchell with it. Gets it ahead down to Holland. Dennis Holland, 1-on-3. Shot, and Ferland will block it. Ferland blocks it in front of the net.
And the crowd is finally coming into it now. This is good. The Americans are playing with some tenacity that they didn't show Tuesday night. And that's
Rennie also getting an assist. Kwiatkowski's 5th goal of the season. A beautiful pass to Barnes.
Playing a little bit of rock and roll.
A little bit of rock and roll comes to the left of the net. It is to take the draw for the Americans is LeBrun. The line is LeBrun and Duval. Now LeBrun is being chased out of there. And LeBrun wins the, loses the draw. It goes to Portland. Winterhawks with it in the slot on Ferland. Missed. Great job by Ferland on Fleetwood. Comes back out. Another drive. Ferland blocks it. Hamish Black took that shot. Jamie Hamish Black goes on the left side down to Jorgensen. Jorgensen whips it in along the boards behind the net. Tri-City Americans in after Spenrath, and we have a whistle.
Penalty.
My, oh my.
There's some good action down there.
1-0. The Americans leading the Portland Winterhawks here in the first period. 12:13 to play.
And I think Mr. Spenrath is going to spend a couple minutes.
Penalty goes to Spenrath.
2 minutes for roughing.
Roughing is the call. 7:47 of the period is the penalty. Americans will have to kill another penalty. Portland 0 for 1 so far. This is their second power play opportunity.
On the year, Portland is about 26% on power play opportunities.
It is Rennie against Hamish Black for the Americans. Hamish Black winning the draw, but back for it is Rod Kraus. Kraus flips it in the air, back into the neutral zone. Goes back alongside the Portland net. Comes back out now to Chad Viafor. Biafor with it, flips it right to Hamish Black. Hamish Black goes to Gray Eyes. Gray Eyes will pull up short at the right point. Feeds a pass down low to Greg Leahy. Leahy back out front now to Gray Eyes. Hamish Black to Gray Eyes. Along the right boards. Gray Eyes out to Hamish Black, head of the slot. Flips a pass on the left side now, intended for Terry Black. He's tied up there. The Americans with it, and they'll ice it again. Good defense by the Tri-City Americans.
Excellent.
Out for it is Defoe. Plays it out to Mark Gray Eyes. Mark Gray Eyes for the Winterhawks. Brings it across the Tri-City's blue line. Has it knocked away by Kwiatkowski, and it's iced again by the Americans. Minute 14 remaining in the penalty. Minute 11:23 on the clock, first period. Back for it now is Chad Biafor. Biafor shoots a pass right to Troy Mick. Mick gets it to Holland. Holland in the slot. Taken away from him by McNutt. McNutt 1-on-3. Here goes McNutt through the neutral zone. McNutt will pull it up short. Feeds a pass now to Kwiatkowski. Kiwi flips it down into the Portland end. Kwiatkowski dumping it into the Portland zone. The Americans on a quick shift change. Great defense by McNutt. Barnes is back on along with Nibbs. Portland getting it quickly up ice into the corner. Goes in behind the Americans' net. Whipped around the boards there. Loose along the top of the dasher board is Nibbs bangs at it, and it goes back to neutral ice for Moore. Moore trying to get it into the Portland zone. Can't. Cudowitz has it. Feeds a pass on the right side. Barnes a slap shot. Blocked by Defoe. Comes down along the boards at the left point. Loose puck goes all the way back into the Americans and Cudowitz. Plays it ahead now to Nibbs. Calvin Nibbs takes a whack at it. Portland with it. They'll center it to Moore. Moore in the neutral area. Catcher on him. 6 seconds left in the penalty. Catcher flips it back into the Portland end.
Great penalty killing right there by the Americans. Fantastic job.
Back for it quickly is Mitchell. Power play killed off. Over
I believe we have a penalty coming up.
Penalty coming up as the Tri-City Americans get the puck and we get the whistle. It is a call against Portland. And we'll get the call for you from public address announcer Kevin
Against Stu
Gallant.
Barnes of the Americans, it looks like.
Well, Barnes going back to get his helmet. Let's see who gets the penalty. A referee comes over. It will be against Barnes. And Kevin Gallant will give us the call as soon as it's available. Comes at exactly 10 minutes of the period. They have a telephone up to Gallant in the press box. Boarding is the call.
Tri-City Americans penalty to number
Barnes
14,
called for shoving his man.
Barnes, 2 minutes for boarding.
For shoving his man unnecessarily into the boards. 10 minutes on the clock. Power play opportunity number 3 for the Winterhawks. Jakes blasts it off the draw back into the Portland end. Goes in behind the Portland net. Defoe is there. Portland back for it. Terry Black. Black will start the line rush for the Portland Winterhawks. Brings it up. Goes left now to Biafor. Chad Biafor takes it across the Tri-City blue line, but Delcourt is there, and Delhi smacks it back into the Portland end. Defoe back for it. Goes into the corner with the puck. Are the Winterhawks, but in quickly is Delcourt.
Good forechecking.
Delcourt and Terry Black tangle along the boards. Now Black has it. Feeds a pass on the left side to Jamie Graham. Graham left to Biafor. Biafor across the blue line. Goes into the corner for Brent Fleetwood. Fleetwood digging away with Rennie. Now comes out to Jakes. Jakes plays it off the boards. Out to the point it goes to Terry Black. Black trying to keep it inside the blue line. Black with it, kicked it ahead to teammate Biafor. Chad Biafor into the slot. They tried to pass it into the
Great
slot.
play by Rob Krause.
Krause saving it, but Portland with the puck. Terry Black at the point. And we've had another whistle. Let's see.
Offsides, I believe, is the call, Kirk.
The puck did go back across the blue line. The offside call against Portland will result in a face-off just outside the Americans' blue line.
Rob Krause sitting right in the middle of the slot like a good defenseman should to help his goalie out and clearing the puck out of the way. And Chad Biafor was right there clearing it out of the way. Good job by Rob Krause.
1 minute remaining in the penalty to Stu Barnes. McNutt and Dennis Holland dig for the puck. It goes to McNutt. He wins the draw, and the Americans get it back into the neutral ice area. Portland with it, comes to Mitchell. Mitchell across neutral ice, goes on along the boards on the right side to Troy Mick. Can we have a whistle?
Offside Portland.
Portland offside again, as there was a Winterhawk across that blue line before the puck.
That's some great defense by the Americans out here.
Americans penalty killing excellent. They are right now killing 81% of the penalties, almost 82%. 26 goals on 142 chances. Off the draw, the puck goes loose. Portland with it. They shoot it ahead now to Troy Mick. Mick flips it left to Clouston. Clouston right in front of the net.
No, they're going to disallow it.
They'll disallow it because of interference, I think, in the goal. The puck went in, and a Winterhawk slid in after it. It was Holland going in after it on Furlan. A quick pass from the corner, and they'll wash that penalty out. Or wash the goal out because Furlan was interfered with.
Good call by Larass, referee Larass.
37 seconds remaining in the penalty to Stu Barnes. The puck wound up in the net, but Holland was all over.
No goal. The net
Right,
was off
Furlan.
its moorings.
Net knocked off its moorings. Face off to the right of Furlan the Magician. It is Rennie against Holland. Both players skate away from the face-off now. In for Portland is Mick against Holland now. And the puck goes into the corner. The linesman has the right to chase somebody out of there. Puck comes sliding out up to the point. For Portland, it goes to the right point. Mitchell into Holland. Holland down underneath. Intended for Mick, and it was blocked by Furlan. Puck right out in front now. Shot toward the goal again by Holland. Wide. Centered again to Holland. Holland goes after it and falls down. The Americans with it. 2-on-2. Here comes Delcourt and Kutowicz. Delcourt beats his man. Kutowicz with it in the corner. Kutowicz centered. But there for Portland is Defoe, and he will freeze it right there. The goalie has the option to just land on top of the puck and stop play. He did. 3 seconds remaining in the penalty to Stu Barnes.
Trent Catcher and Steve Rennie down in front of Frank Furlan for the Americans, doing a great defensive job down there, clearing the puck and keeping the men from screening Frank Furlan for an outside shot from the point. Excellent defensive.
Well, the Americans scoreboard welcoming a group of people from Palouse, Washington, over to watch the game tonight. Good to have them with us. That's a pretty good drive from
It
Palouse.
sure is.
8:03 to go in the first period. 1-0. The Americans leading the Winterhawks. Darren Kwiatkowski scoring from Stu Barnes, his 5th goal of the season. And Barnes getting his 15th assist. Barnes now on a 7-game point string for the Americans. He's had either a goal or an assist in 7 consecutive games. On the faceoff, Spenrath against Mick. Out to the point. Americans a big shot, and it's blocked. Shot by Jakes. Comes out to the point to LeBrun. LeBrun can't handle it. Penalty's over. Portland 0 for 3 on power plays. Nibs with it. Tried to get it to Jakes. Portland back with it. They center it, but it's stolen away by Spenrath. Spenrath 3-on-3 as they break down into the Portland end. Shot down behind the Portland goal. Defoe comes out. Shoots it along the dasher boards. Stopped by Nibs. The Americans have it. LeBrun, or Barnes rather, round behind the Portland net. Barnes out the right side to LeBrun. LeBrun at the point. Looks at a shot. Goes to Barnes instead. Barnes with it at the wing. Back out to LeBrun now at the blue line.
There's some real
back
pushing
to
going
Barnes. Stu Barnes looking it over. Goes in the corner to Spenrath. Back up now. Barnes left to Defoe. Cross-ice pass to Nibs. Back out front, Jakes. Americans on the power play. Goes left to Stu Barnes. Barnes left. Nibs shot! Centered, blocked, and Spenrath couldn't get any wood on it. Portland with it. They shoot it into the neutral ice area.
Biafor and Spenrath pushing each other around the slot down there. Looked like something might get going between those two. Let's keep an eye on them.
The power play for the Americans, their second, came on the penalty against Defoe. And Defoe was called for delay of game. His penalty being served by Clouston. LeBrun to Jakes. Americans on the power play. They can't break it in this time. Goes back into the Portland end. Or back into the Americans end. And Jakes goes after it. Steve Jakes for the Tri-City Americans. Jakes bringing it up. Crowd quiet. 2-on-2. Jakes. Barnes being interfered with along the boards. Barnes got it out, but Portland making a great save. Great save by Troy Mick. Furlan comes out to play it ahead to Delcourt. Delcourt shoots it toward the Portland zone. Winterhawks with it, keeping it in the neutral ice area. Now shot down to the Americans' end. Furlan comes out. Penalties expired to Defoe. Puck comes out into the neutral ice area. Both teams back at even strength. It's in the Americans' end. Barnes with it, slams it off the boards into neutral ice. Portland with it. Hamish Black gets it ahead now to Leahy. Greg Leahy centers it, but it's stolen away by Delcourt. Delcourt stealing the pass and a whistle as Delcourt tried to get it through the neutral zone. On the whistle, referee Loras coming over to.
We'll get the call here in just a moment. The crowd's got to get it a little bit more into it here tonight. We've got a full house, all sold out, and we've got to get some people all clapping their hands and getting things going here. Let's get the Americans all pumped up here tonight.
At 14-19.
14-19 is the penalty. Too many men on the ice against the Americans. That's a bench penalty, called a bench minor. It will be served
Dirksen
by number 9, Devin Dirksen.
Next break, the announcement on who is going to take part in our $100,000 shootout.
5:41 to go in the period. Portland with it. They feed it right to Gray Eyes. Across the slot it goes. In after it is Catcher. Catcher and Leahy as they dig for it along the boards. Americans and the Winterhawks down along the boards, and it will be be frozen along the boards, and face-off will come to the right of Frank Ferland. Also in there was Steve Rennie.
Americans minor penalty being served by number 9, Devin Dirksen.
That was it.
Puck tied up along the boards as the Winterhawks and the Americans. A shot, a score! It came right out in front to Biafor, right off the boards. A big slap shot by Chad Biafor, and he beats Ferland with a big left-handed slap shot. We'll have to wait and see who gets the assist, but Portland scoring big time right there at 14-39 as the puck came off the boards to Chad Biafor, and he just blew it past Frank Ferland.
That's his 4th goal of the season as well.
Crowd is, as you can tell, quiet. We're tied at 1. Scoreboard says Lucky. That was a great shot.
Sure was.
A tough one for a goalie to handle is one coming straight at you and rising slightly. Delcourt at the blue line. Shot into the Americans' end by the Winterhawks. Back for it is Kraus. Puck goes around the boards. Tried to get it is Mike Moore. Moore with it. Moore for Portland. Leahy getting the assist. Biafor from Leahy. And the Americans steal it off the boards. Puck knocked down by Calvin Thudium. Goes in around behind the Tri-Cities net. Portland with it. Winterhawks trying to get control. Clouston along the boards. Puck shot into the neutral zone. Portland back for it. We are tied at 1. 4:40 to go in the first period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. Sellout crowd, but it's awful quiet in here. Puck shot around behind the Americans net as Portland has a quick shift change. Puck goes ahead now to Spenrath. Spenrath across the blue line into the Portland zone. Checked by Biafor. LeBrun back in for it. Puck goes around behind the net, left to right. Shot back into the neutral area, right off the linesman, and the Americans will have a chance to break it in again. Jakes across the blue line. Portland with it. They slam it back to the point, and LeBrun has it to Jakes. Jakes and LeBrun. Here comes Jakes. Jakes to Spenrath. Blocked beautifully by Defoe. Up to the point it goes on the left side. Ruck keeping it in play. In behind the Portland net. Shot back out to the blue line. Jake saves it again.
Nice save.
Back to Duval. Duval shot blocked. And it goes over the glass and out of play.
We have a souvenir right there. Keeping an eye on down in the slot down there with Spenrath and Biafor. If you notice, they're pushing each other around quite a bit down there, and the reason is Spenrath is trying to screen out the goalie Defoe, and the pass from the point, get inside there, possibly a tip, and that's just all part of hockey. You want to get that goalie out of there as much as you can.
3:48 to go in the first period. Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott. We are tied at 1. Tri-City Americans and Portland Winterhawks face off, top of the circle. Won by the Winterhawks. Goes down along behind the net. Comes out now to Mitchell. Mitchell with it. Shoots a pass ahead into the neutral zone. It's stolen. Stolen by Catcher, and his pass goes bad. Mitchell steals it for Portland. Still loose in the neutral ice area, and Mike Moore back for Portland. Moore passes it across the neutral zone, and Kutowicz there for the Americans. Goes left to right now to Catcher. Back to Kutowicz. Kutowicz with it. Shoots it ahead for Nibs. Stolen by Mitchell. Mitchell gloved it down. Slides toward the slot. Here's Fleetwood.
Great play
Fleetwood
by
has it
Stu
stolen
Barnes.
by Barnes. Barnes 1-on-2. Here comes Barnes, splits a defender. Barnes, a shot blocked by Dave Foe. And it's loose behind the net. Taking a whack at it to the Americans, and Portland finally able to shoot it the length of the ice. And it's touched by Furlan, and we have a whistle.
We have a hooking penalty.
Call.
Tri-City Americans penalty to number 22,
Nibs.
Nibs. 2 minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty, 17 minutes. As Nibs
Penalty
scored.
comes at 17 minutes of the period. We are tied at 1. This will be the 4th power play opportunity for Portland. You can't do that against the Winterhawks for very long and survive. 26% of the time, a quarter of the time, the Winterhawks are able to jam it in. Although their first goal was not a power play goal. It was a fortuitous goal at best. On the draw, the Americans win it, but the puck shot off to the blue line and shut off there by Black. The Americans chase after it as Black nearly loses it to Rennie. Rennie goes after Biofor and goes down. Puck back into the Portland end, and here come the Winterhawks. Hamish Black across the blue line. Puck stripped away from him. Good check by Krause. Takes him right across the crease, and it comes out to the blue line. Back into the neutral area. Portland with it. Terry Black back for the Winterhawks, ahead to Biofor. Chad Biofor, pass ahead to Leahy. Greg Leahy starts in on Krause. Leahy, as Krause checks him off of it, shoots it back out to the blue line. Goes to Biofor. Biofor back in neutral ice to Gray Eyes. Stolen away by Krause. Good defensive play by Krause. Ahead to Rennie. Rennie dumps it into the Portland end. The Americans, quick shift change for Tri-Cities. Here comes Terry Black. Black with it for Portland. Feeds a pass left side to Biofor. Biofor in the neutral area at the red line. Goes right now to Holland. Holland leaves it behind along the boards, and McNutt will dig it loose for the Americans. McNutt trying to dig it away. Taken away from him by Holland. Holland centers. Back in the slot, and it's smothered by Furlan. As Gorley took a whack at it. Furlan tied himself in a pretzel and blocked that shot on Brian Gorley.
That's right. And now the Tri-Cities, when they play the Western Division teams, need to make sure that they win these games. Now, against Western Division teams, the Americans are only 4-6. On the other hand, now the Portland team is 12-4. And you want to take care of these teams that are a little bit ahead of you in points, and so you can catch them and go into the playoffs come up in May.
50 seconds remaining in the penalty to Calvin Nibs. Face off to the left of Frank Furlan following that tremendous save by the big guy. Now Kwiatkowski chased out of the face-off circle. Spenrath comes in. Spenner wins the draw, but Portland has it at the point. Winterhawks with it. They're on the power play. With it are the Americans. They shoot it along the dasher board back into the neutral ice area. Portland will have to chase it. Back for it is Mike Moore. Moore for the Winterhawks. They reset and bring it up. Roy Mitchell. Mitchell and Moore, the D-men for Portland. Mitchell with it. Loses it at the blue line, but it's taken off his stick by Troy Mick. Mick slaps it around the boards. Right to left. It goes right to Gorley. Gorley back around the boards, intended for Mick. Mick has it. Nearly loses it to Spenrath. Back up front to the point now to Moore. Moore shoots it into the corner. Rebound in the slot, loose. Furlan falls on it. Another great play by Furlan, the magician.
The magician, definitely right there. How he can see it, it's just like a sixth sense to him. He just finds that puck and snips it right out. Covered it right there, and we'll have a face-off.
Well, the scoreboard now showing what Frank Furlan's been doing tonight as the goalie comes in with a bucket load of bricks and will build a brick wall in front of that goal. Furlan doing a fine job against the Portland Winterhawks. A couple of great saves to beat the Winterhawks. Very good power play. Barnes is on to take the face-off to the right of Furlan. Puck is down. Face-off won by Portland. Drive! Blocked by Furlan. Greg Leahy, a big drive from the left point. Catches it in his glove. And the Americans are really hot about something.
Steve Jakes is exercising the jaw a little bit down there.
Well, he's allowed to, and if you're wearing that letter on your jersey, either an A or a C, the captain's C or an assistant captain's A, you can talk to the referee. Otherwise, you better pretend he's not on the ice. 5 seconds remaining. Tri-Cities wins the draw. Krause slaps it out into neutral ice. The penalty to Nibs is over. Portland 0 for 4 on power plays. Teams back to equal strength. Tied up along the board. Shot back into the neutral zone. But Krause is there to keep it in play. Krause down toward the Portland goal. Defoe is back for it. Leaves it behind for Jorgensen. He shoots it along the boards for Biofor. Nibs and Biofor tie up. Puck is up in the air. Biofor catching it. Now it comes from Portland out toward the blue line, and we have a whistle. Puck was gloved ahead by Portland, and that will result in the call. We're inside a minute to go in the first period. 36 seconds remaining. Tied at 1. Portland and Tri-Cities. We'll have Western Hockey League Vice President Richard Dirksen here in the first intermission to talk about, well, a lot of things, but one of them, of course, the league review of the penalty to Shane Cole that has him out of the lineup tonight for the Tri-City Americans. 36 seconds remaining. Barnes facing off with Graham to the right of Portland's goalie. Portland winning the draw. Comes out to Krause. Krause shoots it back into the Portland end. The Americans wheel back in after it. Mike Moore wipes out. There is Barnes. Barnes losing it to Mitchell. Mitchell for Portland. Mitchell with it. Shoots it ahead to Graham. Graham with a puck in the neutral zone. 2-on-2. It goes to Fleetwood. Fleetwood checked away from the puck as it slides into the corner. Now around behind the net. In after it is LeBrun. Sean LeBrun flips it ahead into the neutral zone. Back after it is Krause, or is Barnes. Barnes upended by Biofor.
And they want a penalty on that one.
Well, they should have a penalty on that one.
There's no doubt about it. Barnes is giving the look to the referee.
And the clock runs out at the end of the first period. Barnes is really hot at Laras, and he should be. He was just flat upended by the stick of Chad Biofor. Well, at the end of the first period, it's Tri-Cities 1, Portland 1. We'll be back in 2 minutes on this KOTY Americans hockey broadcast. The Americans win the draw, and the puck goes through the neutral zone back into the Tri-Cities end before we have a whistle, an offside call against the Portland Winterhawks. We are tied at 1. Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott. That Portland goal was a power play goal, so the Winterhawks are 1 for 4 on power plays. The Americans are 1 for 2. Face off in the neutral ice area, won by Delcourt. Flipped into the Tri-Cities end, but Krause is there to glove it and play it back into the Portland zone. It'll be icing against the Americans unless, if Portland touches it first, they do, and it will go back to the Americans' end. If you dump it the length of the ice like that and a player chases in after it, an offensive player, and touches it, you will not get the icing call. And they will be to the left of the Tri-City Americans goalie, Frank Ferlin. Ferlin wearing his new fiberglass mask. 20 some odd layers of fiberglass hand laid on that mask. Barnes will face off against Hamish Black. Barnes and Hamish Black. Puck is down. Dug out by Barnes. Comes out of there to Nibs. Calvin Nibs chases it into the neutral zone. Portland back for it. Here's Biofor. Biofor slaps the pass off the board, stolen by Jakes. Jakes 2-on-3. Jakes shot flipped into the air, and we have a whistle. Offsides against the Americans as somebody got in ahead of Steve Jakes. We are tied at 1. Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott. Tony, the crowd kind of up and down, not really into this game yet.
They might be a little bit stuffed from turkey today, you know, and it kind of just wears you out a little bit. But you know what? A little excitement here, and we'll get this thing going and wear it off real quick.
Barnes against Hamish Black. His line mates are Kwiatkowski and Nibs. Barnes wins the draw. Puck goes into the Portland end. Portland with it. Jorgensen shoots it ahead now for the Winterhawks. 2-on-3. Goes in behind Frank Ferlin. Ferlin whips it off the glass up to the point. Portland fans at it, and they miss it. All the way back into the Winterhawks end. Biofor back for it. Chad Biofor behind his own net. Shoots it along the boards, and it goes out of play.
Watch out down there.
He played it along the tall glass behind the goal, and it ran out of glass before it got down there.
When those pucks fly into the audience, you got to get out of the way.
Well, and looks like the guy
he got it.
Didn't exactly take that advice, because
he got a little bit on the head, it looks like, down there.
Might have. Face off to the left.
Section K, lower section, place, advantage be struck by a puck.
Base in the corner. Face off, won by Portland. Middlestat with it. Middlestat brings it out, stolen away by Duval. Puck loose in the Portland end. Now Portland with it. Here come the Winterhawks, 3-on-2. Portland, they get it in the center of the slot. Shot wide of the net from Graham. All the way around, shot from the left point by Middlestat. Rolls around behind the net, comes out to the point, sent it again to Graham. Graham with it. Graham shoots it in behind his net. Fleetwood in after it. Centered it straight ahead. Blocked! That was Black taking a whack at it. Ferland there to block it, and he'll freeze it right there. It was Scott Myden rather than Black. Myden taking a poke at it, and he couldn't get it to slide in, and Ferland there to cover it up.
And Spenrath again is right in the middle of it.
Well, Spenrath trying to avoid the abuse on Frank Ferland because Brandon really abused Ferland in the crease the other night, and the Americans can't let that happen. Now, Ferland at 5'9" and 165 pounds needs a little help to move those big guys out of the way. Every once in a while, you'll see Olaf Kolzig come out and do the moving himself, but Ole's not in uniform tonight. And in fact, he'll be our guest a little bit later here as Trevor Sen and Brian Gorley get ready to face off. Now Gorley's chased out, and in comes Thudium. Thudium wins the draw, comes out to the point, a drive! Blocked up front by Rick Fry. The Americans with it. Sen gets it ahead to Dirksen. Goes back along the boards, and Portland broke up the rush. Puck loose in the neutral ice area. Three Americans with it. Goes into the Portland zone. Dirksen goes in after it. Cross ice pass to Mitchell. Mitchell shoots it ahead now to Gorley. Gorley, as Ferland comes out and plays it out of the slot. Gorley was going in on him, and we have a whistle at the blue line. Offsides against the Winterhawks. Oh my, they were really off to the races there for a minute, Tony.
That's right. And we've just seen the first action from little Trevor Sen out there. Center was out there, and he's really a quick one on those skates, isn't he, Kurt?
He is indeed. Trevor Sen, 5'9", 195 pounds from Saskatoon. On the draw, won by the Americans. Jakes to Delcourt. Nice pass. Delcourt across the blue line. Greg Delcourt in along the board. Center to pass to Rennie. Rennie couldn't handle it, but Jakes is there. A drive. Blocked. How Dave Foe even saw that to block it, I'll never know. Here comes Portland, 3-on-3. To Holland in the slot. Holland shot blocked. Back to Holland. Scores! Dennis Holland.
He just keeps totaling them up, doesn't he?
He does. They slid that one right across in front of the net. And Holland beats Ferland from the right side.
That's his 23rd goal of the season.
23rd goal for Dennis Holland. Of course, he put 7 of them on the board last night. We'll get the official announcement
Portland
from Kevin
Winterhawks'
Gallant.
second goal, his 23rd goal of the season, scored by number 15, Dennis Holland. Assist to number 22, Troy Mick.
And Mick gets the assist.
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
2 minutes and 30 seconds into the period. Face-off won by the Americans. Rennie dumps it into the Portland end. Goes into the corner.
We're going to have a penalty.
Jorgensen, and a penalty coming up. It'll be a hooking call against the Americans, I believe.
I believe Terry Black is going to go sit down.
Oh, I take that back. It is Terry Black. So the Americans get a power play opportunity. Their third of the game, and it comes at 2 minutes and 38 seconds of the period.
Troy Mick again over to Holland for another assist. That makes 8 assists and in 2 days for Troy Mick. Dennis Holland is 8th goal in 2 days. Those guys
facing off is Stu Barnes against Jamie Graham. Barnes against Graham as they face it off. Barnes winning the draw. The Americans with it. Tri-Cities on the power play. Face off to the left of the Portland goal. The Americans with it. Barnes nearly loses it. Now does to Graham. Graham with it for the Winterhawks. Graham along the boards. Looks for a man to pass to. He's in trouble for the Winterhawks. Brings it across himself. 1-on-3. It is Jamie Graham. Graham losing it, dumping it back into the neutral ice area to Mike Moore. Moore goes on the right side now to Mitchell. Mitchell to Graham. Graham with it as the Americans try to steal it back. Barnes gets it. Barnes with it in the Americans' end, but Portland able to dump it back into the Tri-Cities' end. Americans on a power play. Their third of the game. Penalty was on Terry Black. Bringing it out now for the Americans, Steve Jakes. Jakes bringing it up to the red line. Jakes flips it into the corner. It goes around behind the Portland net. Winterhawks more going in after it. Nibbs chases it. Stopped by LeBrun at the point, but then chipped loose by the Winterhawks. Back into the Tri-Cities, and Jake's back forward again. The Americans having to do a lot of work here on this power play. Portland, good penalty killing. Pass ahead to Kwiatkowski from Nibbs. Kiwi dumps it in on net. Out comes Defoe. Defoe shoots it up to the blue line. LeBrun with it. LeBrun feeds it to Jakes. Jakes gets it on the right side to Nibbs. Nibbs on the left wing, boards up to Jakes. Jakes, a drive. It's deflected out front. Comes right in front of the goal. Kwiatkowski around Ford, gets it to Barnes. Barnes slides it into the slot. Nibbs can't get to it, and Portland dumps it the length of the ice. Ferland comes out. He'll play it ahead to Steve Jakes. Jakes with it. Jakes across the red line up the left wing board. Steve Jakes shoots a pass to Delcourt.
Nice
Ready,
pass.
Delcourt, and Spinrath couldn't get his stick down. Portland with it. They get it to up to neutralize. Jakes has it stolen away there by Maiden. Maiden, loose puck. Gets it to Biofor. Biofor ahead to Graham. Graham, 1-on-2. Broken up by Jakes. Good move by Jakes to break a possible Portland scoring opportunity. Spinrath, 3-on-2 for the Americans. Spinrath quickly chips it across in front of the slot. Goes to LeBrun. LeBrun with it. Penalties over. Portland back to full strength. The Americans with it. Tied up as Rennie loses his stick. Has to fight a Winterhawk for it. Pass up across the slot, and the Americans trying to keep it alive. Delcourt centered it. Delcourt for Nibbs, or for Spinrath. He's knocked away from it. Spinrath goes in to dig it out. Portland will hold him along the boards. Now Spinrath kicks it out with his skate to Catcher. Back to Spinrath. They shoot it around behind the Portland net, right to left. Back to Rennie. Dogger with it along the boards, out to Kutowicz. Kutowicz, a drive! Blocked by Defoe. Rebound goes into the corner. Rennie after it. Steve Rennie and Delcourt going after it. Big hit by Graham. Back to the slot. Another shot off the glass. Went over the net. Comes out to Catcher. Catcher loses it in the neutral zone to Terry Black. Black. But Catcher keeping it in the neutral zone. And we have a whistle now. It'll be a puck was played off a high stick. And it will be faced off just inside the Americans' blue line.
The Americans are really attacking tonight. You can really see the difference in from the game on Tuesday night. They're sticking it out in their blue line area, making passes, and the guys are keeping their sticks down on the ground, which is important because on a pass into the slot, you've got to have that stick down there so they can get that pass.
Face off inside the Portland blue line, or Tri-Cities blue line now. Sen against Hamish Black. Hamish Black winning it. Tri-Cities with the puck, though, as they steal it away in the Portland end. A couple of big hits
There's
along
some good
the board.
checking going on now.
Sen really doing some work there. The Americans bring it in. Shot! Just blocked by Defoe. Goes into the corner. Sen takes a big hit from Middlestat. What a hit by Middlestat.
And we're going to have a penalty.
Trevor Sen says, hey, do that.
We got something going on.
Fight. And they're going to break it up quickly. Dirksen got in there for the Americans. Dirksen's being backed off. The big hit came from Jamie Middlestat.
And Sandy's going to go at it, too. Here we go, right
Trevor
there.
Sen
And
going to
Raymond.
go with Raymond.
And Sen, oh, center.
Trevor Sen and Rick Raymond. Sen's helmet is off. Raymond's is not.
There he goes.
Sen gets a couple of shots on the
Oh, and
spot.
he's got him on the ground now. Another shot to the face. Another one.
Trevor Sen winning this one. Sen, a tough customer.
Yeah, you betcha.
Not big, but he can punch. He is a
And he's
tough
doing
kid.
the job now.
Trevor Sen and Rick Raymond, and now they go down on the ground, and the linesman will dive in to break it up.
And the fans ought to like that one. That was a good fight.
That was a good one.
Good little scrap there. Trevor Sen.
Sen and Raymond. Well, that action got real rough down in the corner. Middlestat just blasted Trevor Sen.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that'll help cool everybody's jets just a little bit here.
You could actually see it starting up here by the middle of the ice as it continued down into the attack zone. People pushing each other everywhere. And
Well,
that's gonna happen.
they clean things up. Let's take time out. 30 seconds on this KOTY Americans hockey broadcast.
Live from Express, Exchange, a revolutionary computer information service with news, complete stock quotes, sports, family fun. Available in your home inexpensively through your cable TV line. Make the connection. Exchange.
I think the exchange program is fantastic.
Exchange is awesome.
This is something we can show you right now. You can put your hands on it. It's tangible. It is the future.
Call 1-800-7PC-NEWS for express exchange.
Portland Winterhawks leading the Tri-City Americans 2-1 on a quick goal by Dennis Holland from Troy Mick. Holland and Mick, line mates back to the time they were 5 years old. They really are impressive for the Winterhawks, Tony.
Yeah, that's right. Holland has now scored 6 times against the Americans this year.
Holland and Mick.
What a combo.
And, oh boy, they are. Portland, a very offensive-minded team. They're not really a strong defensive team, but they've looked pretty good tonight, and Defoe has been very, very good in goal.
Yes, he has.
2-1 the score as we're waiting now for the referee to finish assessing the penalties. They'll phone it up here to the, or up to the control room, and Kevin Gallant will make the announcement to the fans, and we'll pick that up when Gallant is ready to make his announcement. Sean LeBrun over for a word with referee Darren Larass.
There are penalties to the Portland Winterhawks, to number 12, Hamish Black, 2 minutes for slashing. To number 24, Joey Middlestat, 2 minutes for roughing. And to number 23, Rick Riemann, 5 minutes for fighting. For the Tri-City Americans, to number 9, Devin Dirksen, 2 minutes for roughing. And to number 19, Trevor Sen, 2 minutes for slashing and 5 minutes for fighting. Time of the penalties, 5 minutes and 48 seconds.
So we have slashing, roughing, slashing, and a fight, and it all comes out to 4 guys in the penalty box. 5 guys in the penalty boxes, 2 for the Americans, 3 for Portland, but both teams remain at full strength because there's no the penalties assessed against the individuals rather than against the teams in a situation like that. And the Americans win the draw. If we get things back underway now, Jakes to Kraus. Kraus shoots it into the Portland end. It was on goal. And out to block it is Defoe. Goes into the corner. Big hit by McNutt. Just missed by Mike Moore. And Portland brings it out. Portland across the neutral zone. They shoot it into the Tri-Cities end. Back for it is Ferland. Ferland whips it along the glass to McNutt. Steve McNutt out into the neutral ice area. Shot a pass to Rennie. Dogger couldn't get it. Back for it is Delcourt. Greg Delcourt. A penalty coming up. They center. McNutt can't handle it. And a whistle. And the penalty will be against the Winterhawks, I believe. And this will give Tri-Cities a power play. It's against Dennis Holland. Penalty comes at 6:24 of the period. And we'll get the call for you in a moment as Holland goes to the penalty box for the Portland Winterhawks. The Americans.
Portland Winterhawk penalty at 6:24 to number 15, Dennis Holland.
Roughing, I believe.
2 minutes before roughing.
Roughing against Holland. And the Americans on their 4th power play. They win the draw out to the point. LeBrun a drive. And it goes wide of the net. Out for Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski leaves it down in the corner for Barnes. Barnes out to LeBrun. They got LeBrun at the point now on that power play. Barnes comes in. Barnes tried to center it to Kwiatkowski. Comes out to the corner. The Americans with it. Taken down there is Jakes. Portland with it. Here comes Graham. Beats LeBrun at the blue line. Graham with it. He'll take a belt. Ooh, he got sandwiched. And it goes into the Tri-Cities end where Barnes back with it. Jakes and LeBrun really put a pop on Jamie Graham that time. In with it is Barnes. Barnes, Kwiatkowski. Kiwi whips around behind the net. Kwiatkowski centered. Barnes! There's Barnes. Tried to slide it in. It wouldn't go. Portland with it. They chip it out. Goes in the corner now to Calvin Nibbs. Nibbs to LeBrun. LeBrun at the blue line. LeBrun looks at a shot. Won't take it. Goes to Barnes. Minute remaining in the penalty. Back out to LeBrun. LeBrun slap shot! Just deflected wide of the net. Kwiatkowski tried to get it to go in. Wouldn't go. Barnes with it. Barnes looking in. Slides a pass out to LeBrun. LeBrun another drive. Smothered by Jamie Graham. Puck's loose just into the neutral zone and now shot into the Tri-Cities end. Ferland goes down to play it. Leaves it behind for Jakes. Jakes to Calvin Nibbs. Portland defenders race in after him. They get it to Jakes. Jakes to Rennie. Jakes looks at Rennie. Goes cross ice left. for Spenrath. Spenrath can't get his stick down, goes into the corner. He's hooked by Leahy, no whistle, and LeBrun has it. Back out to Jakes. Takes a drive! Blocked in the slot. Barnes takes a whack at it. Goes loose out along the boards. Shot into the neutral area by Portland. Here come the Winterhawks. It is Troy Mick. Mick in on Furlan, tries to slide it in. Furlan blocks it. It's loose behind Furlan. And Spenrath, a good job to go in there and get the puck where Furlan can find it and freeze it.
That's called a sweep check, and that's exactly what he did. He swept it right out from underneath him.
16 seconds remaining in the power play. 11:52 on the clock. Second period, 2-1.
You know, that puck seems to bounce a little bit, and Coach John Alvord mentioned something about that last game. The pucks need to be frozen, and I've seen it bounce quite a bit out here, haven't you, Kirk?
Yeah, although they are kept in ice water and certainly should be well frozen. 11:52 to go. It's the minor officials' jobs to do that. Rennie will face off against Leahy. Puck slides toward the Americans' net. Back in for Kutowicz. 11 seconds remaining in the power play. Here comes Tri-Cities to Rennie. Rennie shoots it into the corner. Spenrath going in after it. He's being held up there by Troy Mick. They get it out along the boards. Back into the neutral area for Catcher. Penalties over Holland. Puck shot into the corner by Catcher. Goes around behind the net. Chasing in after it are the Portland Winterhawks. Winterhawks bring it out the neutral area. There's Holland. Gets around Kutowicz. Rennie takes him off the puck. Spenrath is there, and he belts Holland.
Nice check.
And we'll have a penalty. It wasn't nice. Portland.
And that's a goal.
And the Winterhawks score from
That's
the
a
left
goal.
side. Portland gets the score as Holland was high cross-checked right in the neck by Spenrath. So we're going to have a... This has multiple problems. We'll wait for the call by Kevin Gallant. Joining us in the broadcast booth is Olaf Kolzig, the Americans goalie, who is Moore gets the goal. Mick gets the assist, his second of the night. And Holland also getting an assist. Penalty comes at 8:44. And they'll wash that penalty out that was coming up since Portland scored. And Portland now leading 3-1 over the Tri-City Americans. Face off at center ice. It goes to Biofor. Biofor for Portland gets it to Jorgensen. Jorgensen with it, shoots it into the Tri-City's hand. The Americans back for it. Stolen away in the slot by Clouston. Back out to the point. Big shot taken by Jorgensen. Puck goes loose. Around behind the Portland Tri-City's net. Back in after it are the Americans. Comes out on the point now left to Biofor. Biofor ties up with McNutt. McNutt steals it away. Gets it to Kraus. Kraus ahead to Fry. Fry with it for the Americans. Fry checked off the puck. Portland with it. In a hurry is Calvin Thudium. Thudium takes it to the boards, and Fry takes it off his stick. Here comes Rick Fry. Fry's pass intended for Delcourt. Knocked loose by Clouston. Scramble for it along the boards. Here comes Portland. Gorley, a shot wide of the net. Comes back around left to right, out into the neutral zone. Portland keeping it in play. Shot it back out into the Tri-City zone. The Americans try to reset. Here comes Kraus with it. Kraus gets it ahead to Fry. Bad pass. Fry couldn't handle it. Goes to Graham. Graham back to Biofor. Now Chad Biofor will bring it ahead for Portland. And a two-line offside pass called against the Winterhawks. Olaf Kolzig, good to have you with us. I hope that knee is going to get better pretty quick.
Well, I hope so too. Surgery was pretty successful. We're looking at 10 to 12 days before I'm on the ice.
You had arthroscopic surgery yesterday?
Arthroscopic. All they found was a lot of cartilage damage, no ligaments. So 10 to 12 days and I'll be on the ice.
Outstanding. In the meantime, the Americans have Marty Braithwaite up from the Hobema Hawks of Tier 2 to back up Frank Furlan. A drive by Kutowicz goes in front of the goal. And it's played back out into the neutral area by the Americans. Goes to Barnes. Barnes across the blue line into the Portland zone. Splits the defenders. Shoots. Blocked by Defoe. And it goes down in behind the net. Nibbs takes a poke at it. And Portland will have it. Great defensive play by Defoe. And we have a whistle. Roughing is the call. And I think it will go against the Winterhawks. Let's see. Olaf Kolzig joining us up here, and Tony Ott taking a few minutes off. Ole, they Winterhawks are 2-0 against the Americans. This would be a great one to even their score.
Yeah, it definitely would be. The Winterhawks are so strong is because they're so offensive-minded. Their defense is poor, and their goaltending is pretty strong. Byron Defoe has played really well for them lately. And, you know, if we break out of our scoring slump, you know, this would be one heck of a game.
Well, the game that we lost 5-4, you were in goal for the Americans. We lose 3 face-offs in a row to the right of the net. When was the last time we lost 3 face-offs in a row?
Well, that was, you know, that was just one of those days. Can't really blame the forwards. You know, they tried their best. It just wasn't meant to be that night.
Barnes into the corner, proving once again that Lady Luck's not a nice lady. Goes to Barnes. Barnes slides it across the slot for Nibs. It rolls in on Defoe, and he comes out to smother it. How many times has Calvin Nibs had a whack at the puck in front of the net?
Too many. He's really questioning himself. You know, he's had so many chances. It's just a matter of time before he really pulls the trigger.
He can be a goal scorer. In that case, there were 4 sticks between Calvin's stick and Defoe.
Tell me about it. I face him every day in practice. Oh, I know how he shoots.
It will be Stu Barnes to step in as the Americans power play. This their 5th of the night.
Good save.
Puck goes back into the Tri-Cities end as it was saved by Defoe. Comes back out now to Jakes. Quick shot right off the draw. Jakes gets it ahead now to Nibs. Nibs to Kwiatkowski, back out front to Jakes. Americans on a power play, left to LeBron. LeBron for Nibs. There's a shot! Defoe blocked it again. Nibs goes down along the boards. Nibs and Kwiatkowski for the Tri-City Americans. Kwiatkowski with it. Kicks it at Defoe, and Defoe will smother it right there.
Yeah, Defoe's a pretty solid goaltender. You know, you're going to have one good shot to beat him. He's got a big 5-hole, a big hole between the legs. Hopefully the players are picking that up.
When you talk about the 5-hole, the hole between the legs, he doesn't cover that up very well when he makes a move from one side to the other, does he?
No, that's right. He's more of a butterfly goaltender, which means he gets low to the ice, increasing the hole between his legs. He's not very solid coming across the crease, but somehow he manages always to get a piece of the puck.
Minute 18 in the penalty, which means the Americans have an opportunity here. Middlestat drew the penalty for roughing. Goes to Nibs. Nibs in the slot. A shot, and it's checked right up into the crowd. It was deflected off a Winterhawk stick. And a new puck will be put in play. Well, we've had one fan already learn that when you watch hockey, you pay attention. And it's kind of like baseball. That thing flies off the playing surface. It can give you a pretty good shot. Puck traveling probably 100 miles an hour off that slap shot. Jakes with it out to LeBron. LeBron to Barnes. Barnes with it out on the left wing. Barnes left of the goal. Back up front now to LeBron. LeBron fakes the shot. Goes to Barnes instead. Stu Barnes working in. 57 seconds remaining to LeBron at the head of the slot. Tries to chase it down the slot. And it's blocked by Holland. Holland kicks it loose into the Tri-Cities end. Holland starting after it. And Barnes just took him off his skates to make sure he wasn't going to have a breakaway. Here comes LeBron. LeBron all the way down quickly around behind the Portland net. Tried to wrap it around on Defoe. Byron was there. So LeBron comes back out to the blue line. LeBron at the blue line for the Americans. That's a change in the power play team. Jakes has to dig at it, keeps it in play, but goes back across the blue line, and the Americans have to reset. Everybody has to clear the zone. Passed in by Jakes into the corner. Barnes goes in after it. Barnes wipes out. Tries to get it to Kwiatkowski, and the Americans have to chase it along the boards. In after it is Calvin Nibs. Nibs with Holland. And players down, and they land on top of the puck to freeze it. Adding LeBron at the point. Ole, that's a change, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a change. Well, what we need to do is we need to get some guy in front of the net. That's how Portland scored their 5th goal in Portland a couple weeks back. It's so hard for a goaltender, especially Defoe size, to see around a guy like Spenrath. It's really difficult, and that's what we need to do a lot more.
The Portland defenders doing a pretty good job of clearing that area in front of the net.
They are, but Spenrath's strength should just be able to keep him there. With 2 guys in front of the net, it's much harder for a goaltender to stop.
Off the draw, the puck shot back into the Tri-Cities end. Ferland comes out, leaves it for Catcher. Catcher around behind the net. Back up front now to Delcourt. Delcourt right to McNutt. McNutt takes it off the boards, goes back to Catcher as the Americans have to reset. Pass ahead to Delcourt, stolen away and dumped back into the Americans' end. Penalty is over. Down goes Fleetwood. McNutt just leveled Fleetwood. Broken stick laying in the middle of the ice. Puck shot the length of the ice. Out is Defoe. Portland with it. The Americans now take it off his skate right at the boards. It is Delcourt. Delcourt centers for McNutt. Went all the way across the slot. Back out to Rennie. Rennie with the puck along the boards. Rennie chases it down in behind the Portland net. And Mitchell goes after it for the Winterhawks. McNutt keeping it in play to Rennie, to Delcourt. Here comes Delcourt. Delcourt, a shot, but it was smothered out front. Loose puck. Rennie has it. Back to Kutowitz. Kutowitz slides it in. Blocked by Defoe. Comes out on the right side now for Portland to Graham. Graham trying to get it ahead to Minden. The Americans will have the puck as a couple of players go down. Portland in a shift change. Back for the puck is Catcher. Catcher ahead to Delcourt. Delcourt 2-on-3, and Delcourt will be stopped along the board short of the blue line. Back in after it now is Hamish Black. Jamie Hamish Black leaving it for Biafor. Chad Biafor shoots it across to Hamish Black. Hamish Black top of the slide across the blue line, but the Americans check him away from the puck. Krause with it now for Tri-Cities. Ahead now to Devin Dirksen. Dirksen and Barnes. Here comes Barnes. 3-on-3. Barnes beats his man. Barnes, but he can't get the shot. Leaves it behind now for Dirksen. Goes off of Dirksen's stick. Out to Krause. Krause a drive. Hit the post. Right out in front. Dirksen takes a whack at it. He can't get it. Oh, how lucky can you get?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or how unlucky.
Yeah.
That shot
was pretty hard. Rob Krause has got, I think, the hardest shot on the team. And if he starts utilizing it a little more, he's going to get a few goals.
That was a big blast by Krause.
Yeah.
It had Defoe beaten all the way. Hit the right post and kicked right back out in front. Dirksen can't get to it because there's a Winterhawk on his belly right next to the puck.
Defoe made a nice save on the second shot by Dirksen coming across. It was a nice save.
6:08 to go in the second period. Kirk Williamson along with Olaf Kolzig. 3-1 the score. Portland leading the Tri-City Americans. Now a conversation between LeBrun and the referee. Not sure what the discussion's about, Ole. Can you decipher that maybe?
No, I didn't see what happened after the play. Maybe some of the Portland Winterhawk forwards shoved the puck into Defoe. I'm not sure.
LeBrun with Duval and Svenrath on the line for the Americans. Sherstenka and Krause. Taking the draw from Portland is Hamish Black. The Americans win it. Puck to the right of the Portland net. Loose around behind the net, and Duval going in after it. Duval and Moore. Moore's a big man. It goes into the corner. Portland with it now. Gray Eyes. Gray Eyes. And the Americans keep it in play. Svenrath into the slot. It comes out. But Portland with it. Goes to Hamish Black. Hamish back. Had it stolen away by Sherstenka. Rob Krause with it for Tri-Cities ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun's pass to Duval. Duval takes it in. Duval up the right side, and we have a whistle. Oh, that got fast and furious. And the Americans...
They got the wave going again.
That must have been a lot of fun when that started the other night.
I had chills going down my spine. I was on the bench. Imagine what it did to the players. Gave us a big boost against Seattle.
3-1 the score, and the wave continues to whip around the building here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. 5:38 to go. The Winterhawk fans are looking around, or Winterhawk players are looking around like, my goodness, what is going on here? Barnes to take the draw against Corley, just outside the Portland blue line. Barnes steals it. Barnes gets him by his man to the left of the slot. Barnes with it. Stu Barnes with the puck. Slides it across, but it's stolen by Portland. Here comes Clouston. Sean Clouston, 2-on-3. Clouston tries to whip it in front of Ferland. Can't do it. The Americans are there. Ferland has to poke it off into the corner. Jakes comes out for it. Kept in play by Portland. No, they lose it into the neutral zone. Nibs and Barnes. Good job as the puck is loose along the boards. Kwiatkowski slides it out in front of Defoe. Defoe bangs it out to William, and he gets leveled by Catcher. Puck dumped the length of the ice into the Americans' end. Here comes Jakes. When the Americans hit, they win. And it is Nibs with it. Tried to get it in front of the Portland goal. Had it stolen away by Thudium. Thudium wiped out. It's loose along the boards. Barnes with it. Barnes scrambling for the puck. Has it for the Americans. Barnes a drive. And it's caught by Defoe. Barnes turned around and slapped that one, but Defoe right there, he had a good view of that shot.
Isn't Stu Barnes exciting?
He is. He's
you never know what he's going to do with the puck. You think he's out of a play, and bang, it's in. Defoe, you know, was solid on the shot. Not much to do there. To hit him right in the chest. You know, Stewie didn't really have too much of a chance to shoot it. His guy was right on him. You know, he's one exciting player to watch, though.
3-1 the score. 4:43 of the second. Portland leading the Tri-City Americans. Face off to the right of the Portland goal. Comes out to Rennie McNutt. Tries to take a shot. If Rennie wins the draw, McNutt's shot flips off into the corner. Played around the boards now by Portland. There's Middlestat. Middlestat has it stolen away by Kraus. Loose into the neutral zone. Delcourt dumped it in. And it goes behind the Portland goal. Middlestat with it for the Winterhawks. Both teams are full strength. Stolen by Rennie and a whistle. Rennie stealing the puck from Portland. We had an offsides against the Americans, as there were still Americans players in the zone when Rennie wound up to take the shot.
I guess this must be a goaltender's rink. Every goaltender that stepped in here has been playing well. Lorenz and Kidd and now Defoe.
Yeah, they have played well.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my start. Maybe hopefully it'll rub off on me.
Well, of course, Frank's been playing well, too.
Frank's been playing super.
Troy Mick shoots it into the Americans' end, goes behind the goal. McNutt for it. And they dig for it along the boards. Comes back now to Rob Kraus. Kraus shoots it into the neutral ice area. Portland will have to chase it. And back for it is Middlestat. Middlestat plays it around behind the boards to Raymond. Raymond will bring it out. Rick Raymond for Portland. Up to the neutral zone and slaps it into the Tri-Cities end. McNutt's there. McNutt takes a big hit from Meiden. And the puck goes back into the neutral zone. Mitchell with it across the blue line, whips it around the boards, but Ferland there to stop it and leave it for Kraus. Rob Kraus. Kraus's pass blocked by Mitchell. Mitchell skates in. A shot wide of the net by Meiden. Ooh, Portland had a great opportunity there. Tri-Cities with it. They bring it back. Delcourt to Rennie. Rennie 3-on-2. Rennie loses it at the boards, and we have an offside call against the Americans. Rennie just couldn't quite handle the pass. 3-1 the score. That was a tough one. 3:24 to go. Second period. Portland leading the Tri-City Americans. That Mick Holland line.
Oh, they're just incredible. Yeah, just the goaltender's got to be on his very best when that line's out there. Like, they'll do so much damage to the team. It's incredible.
Sen and Meiden on the face-off, and Trevor Sen kicking it into the Portland end. The Winterhawks have it. Moore shoots it cross ice. Intended for Fleetwood. Back on the Americans. Scherstenka. Scherstenka flips it ahead to Rick Fry, and it's dumped right back by the Winterhawks. Scherstenka gets it right back. Dan Scherstenka brings it up into the neutral ice area for the Americans. He'll stick handle it, trying to get it across the blue line. It's wiped out by Fleetwood. Loose puck, and we have a whistle. Well, you could just about take your pick on that one. It'll be hooking.
You never know with this ref, though. He's called some strange ones tonight.
Well, he called a few that were a little bizarre the other night.
Yeah. It's kind of strange that we have him 2 nights in a row. I never usually see that.
Portland's Fleetwood goes to the penalty box. The Americans getting their 6th power play opportunity. They're 1 for 6. And the penalty coming at 17:02 of the second period. Kirk Williamson joined tonight in this second period by Olaf Kolzer, the Tri-City Americans goalie. Currently out with a knee injury. Expect to be back in play in about a couple of weeks as the Americans win the draw, and LeBrun goes back to get it. On the power play, the Americans set their power play, taking plenty of time, leaving it behind the net for Duval. Duval to Barnes. Here comes Barnes. Slaps it into the corner, goes all the way around the Portland net. Out to Duval. Duval slides it toward the goal. Portland with it, and they slide it out to the blue line. Jakes can't get it, and it goes the length of the ice. Now Ferland comes out of the crease, plays it ahead to Jakes. Jakes to Duval. Duval with it in the neutral area. Duval with the puck, passes it right to himself off of Dennis Holland, and it dumps it into the corner. In after it is Spenrath. Puck left behind. Spenrath putting a big hit on Viafor. Puck at the point now. LeBrun loses it from behind to Holland, as Holland's stick was all over Sean LeBrun that time. And it goes now to Jakes. Steve Jakes with it for the Americans. A slot, a big drive right down the slot as Jakes cleared the blue line. It was there, blocked by Defoe. Comes back out now to Sean LeBrun. LeBrun with the puck. LeBrun slides it on the right side to Duval. Duval to Jakes, and his pass stolen away. Stolen by Troy Mick. Mick flips it into the Tri-Cities end. Furlan leaves it behind for LeBrun. LeBrun takes it right in front of the net.
There was a scary moment for Frank there. Sean cutting right in front of the net.
As Graham is there for Portland. In with it is Barnes, and his pass is knocked away by Portland back to the blue line. The Winterhawks have it, killing off the penalty pretty well this time. Americans only had a couple of shots. Now in the slot, a drive, and LeBrun gives up the body as Maiden takes a big flap. Now here comes Barnes. Barnes with it. Barnes on the right side looking for LeBrun. He'll wait for help. Gets it from LeBrun and Cutterwitz. Cutter, a drive! Just wide of the net, comes around to the point where Barnes has it. Barnes on the right point, leaves it behind for Kwiatkowski. Kiwi takes it down into the corner, shoots it off the glass. In there is Fry and Barnes. Puck's tied up along the boards. Now Portland has it as it shoots back behind the Portland net. Penalty is over. Winterhawks back to full strength. Pass goes ahead to Fleetwood. Fleetwood one-on-one, shoots it into the slot. And there for the Americans is Nibb. Nibb's ahead to Rennie. Rennie may have his man beaten. Rennie pulls up short. Good defensive play that time by Biofor. Got back on Rennie.
Oh, I don't know about that call.
Penalty coming. It'll be hooking.
Oh,
Comes at 25 seconds of the period.
Ref keeps the guessing game going. He's been calling some real bad ones tonight.
2 minutes before hooking.
Rennie called for hooking. It comes at 19:35 of the period. Portland leading 3-1 over the Tri-City Americans. Doing the color honors here in the second period is Ole the goalie, Olaf Kolzig. Played last year for the New Westminster Bruins, the team that became the Tri-City Americans. Played, what, about half the year, Ole, for the Bruins?
About a quarter of the year, yeah.
And became the Americans back up to Frank Furlan, and certainly at the top of the list for next year as Furlan will graduate from the Western Hockey League. He is an overage player this year. Portland winning the draw. They get it up the right side to Gray Eyes. Gray Eyes back to the head of the slot. Shot! Just tipped wide of the net by Furlan. The shot by Biofor comes out along the boards. Digging at it of the Americans. Catcher has it right in front of the net. Here comes Portland's Gray Eyes in for it. Out to the slot, and the puck is caught by Furlan as it was deflected high of the net. Furlan catches it to end the period. Minute 35 will remain in that penalty to Steve Rennie when the third period begins. At the end of 2, it's Portland 3, Tri-Cities 1. Back in 2 minutes on this KOTY Americans hockey broadcast. Get the third period underway. A 3-1 score. And remember, our what they call the penalty box show, or the penalty box part of our Tri-City Americans postgame show tonight, will feature Americans co-captain Greg Spenrath. That'll be carried live on KOTY, live here in the Coliseum. Fans will have a chance to talk to Spenner and get his autograph or whatever. And then we'll also have a couple of other interviews on our post-game show on KOTY. As the teams come back on the ice, Steve Rennie puts himself back in the penalty box. Portland is currently 1 for 4 on power plays. This is their 5th power play opportunity of the game. About a minute and 35 seconds remaining in the power play to Steve Rennie. The American penalty killing team will be Barnes, Kwiatkowski, and Nibbs. Or check that. It'll be Kwiatkowski and Nibbs along with Spenrath, or along with Jakes and Rob Krause. Ready for the face-off now to start the third period. Puck is dropped. Goes back to Portland. The Winterhawks win it. Black to Biofor. They get it ahead now to Mick. Troy Mick, and is whacked away from him by Rob Krause. Slides in front of the Portland goal. Here comes Dave Foe. Plays it off the boards to Holland from Mick. Holland goes on the left side. Now to Hamish Black. Hamish Black in the corner. Back out to the point now to Terry Black. Terry Black with it. Slides it down to Hamish Black. Back to Terry Black. Stolen away. Big drive! down the slot, and is blocked by Ferland.
Dennis Holland was sitting right at the edge of the crease there, waiting and putting his stick up in the air, and Frank Ferland had the presence to be there and stop the puck. Beautiful play by Frank Ferland right there at goal.
Certainly was. Big drive came from Chad Biafor, and it was Holland trying for the deflection. It wouldn't drop, and a minute 6 remaining in the power play for the Portland Winterhawks. It'll be Dennis Holland against McNutt now. McNutt, Delcourt, along with Krause and Jakes. Nope, Delcourt will take the draw. Delcourt wins it off the boards. Krause slams it out to the point, but it's blocked. In the slot, it goes to Hamish Black. To Holland, blocked by Ferland. Holy cow, and a block by Frank Ferland.
The magician.
What a job by Ferland, the magician. And it goes back behind the Portland goal. You talk about weaving a spell. He has done it tonight. Portland bringing it out. Pass across on the right to Biafor. Biafor breaks across the blue line. Biafor whips in around behind the Tri-Cities net. Tries to leave it for a teammate. Americans all over him. Biafor, Krause, Jakes digging for the puck, and they'll freeze it there.
We have a gloving, and it looks like the faceoff's going to be out right out about the blue line.
No band tonight, so they put regular seats up in that section. And my, oh my, we have a sellout plus, actually. 6,004 seats when we have a band here. Probably 624, 634 when otherwise. 29 seconds remaining in the penalty to Steve Rennie.
The Americans' power play tonight has been excellent. Their defense has just been superb.
Portland 1 for 4 on power plays. On the draw, Kwiatkowski goes out to Kutowicz. Kutowicz took Nibbs. Nibbs has it stolen away. Here comes Portland, centered right of the net. They try to slam it in and can't do it. Great defensive work that time. Ferland didn't get a stick on it, but the Americans defenders, Nibbs, Kwiatkowski, Kutowicz doing the job. Back for Portland is Mitchell. Mitchell shoots it ahead into the neutral zone to Meiden. Scott Meiden across the blue line is clobbered by Kutowicz. Cutter took him down, and a puck is shot back into the Portland end.
Kutowicz played his position, stood there, and took his own ground. That was an excellent play.
Leaving behind for Mike Moore. Moore plays it out to Mitchell. Roy Mitchell. Mitchell stolen away by Spinrath. Spinner one-on-one, a shot! Wide, and the net goes around into the corner. Penalty's over. Rennie's back on the ice. Puck goes back out to the point. Kutowicz keeping it in play, and we have a whistle. It'll be offsides as Kutowicz dumped it in from the blue line. 18:04 in the period. Face-off will come just outside the Portland blue line, and Tony, it looks like the Americans have the momentum here.
There's no doubt about it. That's good to have that friend, Mr. Mo, on your side. And I think coming out of the locker room right now, at the beginning of this period, it looks like Tri-City Americans have that perfect ally, momentum.
Just outside the Portland blue line will be the face-off. The Regina Pats making their only visit of the season on Sunday night, 6 o'clock. The line is Barnes with Spinrath and LeBrun. For the Americans, Hamish Black with Gray Eyes and Leahy. Shot from outside the blue line by Krause. The Americans win the draw. Now Portland will ice it. They'll dump it all the way down behind the Americans' goal. Jakes will touch it for icing, and they'll bring it back to the Portland end. 17:53 to go in the third period. 3-1 the score. The fans being admonished about throwing stuff on the ice. It can cause very serious injury.
Yes, it can.
It is also a rather uncivilized thing to do, to quote what's his name? LeBrun will take the draw for the Americans. LeBrun with Barnes and Spinrath. Barnes chased out of the center circle. Face off to the right of the Portland zone, and now Leahy being chased out. LeBrun being chased out. Barnes will step in to take the draw against Hamish Black. Stu Barnes talking with Krause and Jakes. LeBrun moves around the other side of the circle, just to the right of the Portland goalie Byron Defoe. Everybody breaks
chase
once
him
again.
out too.
And how the referee comes in and says, hey,
let's get this thing going.
Now Gray Eyes is in to take the draw for Portland. Puck's down. Barnes gets it. Takes it into the corner. Taken away from him by Biofor. Biofor shoots it into the neutral zone. Krause will go back forward for the Americans. Frank Furlan comes out. Plays the disc off the glass. Portland with it in the neutral zone. Whistle and a roughing is the call.
Oh, boy. And I'll tell you what. I've seen some hits out there tonight that have been a little bit more rougher than that. And
Spenrath
Tri-City Americans penalty to number
called for the
Craig Spenrath, 2 minutes before roughing.
Called for roughing, 2 minutes and 20 seconds of the period. Portland getting their 6th power play opportunity. The Americans spending a lot of time killing penalties. That was kind of a strange call, to be perfectly honest.
I think so.
Rennie against Holland. Puck is down. Holland wins the draw. Holland gets it on the left side now to Hamish Black. Slides it across the slot. Portland with it. Portland on the power play. Krause in after it for the Americans. Comes back to the point to Mick. Troy Mick slides it left now to Biofor. Biofor. Holland, a shot blocked by Furlan. Puck still in play. Goes around behind the net. Furlan thought he had it and couldn't hang on to it. Rennie steals it away. Shoots it back into the neutral zone. Rennie and Delcourt 2-on-1. Rennie, a shot! Blocked. Slid back by Rennie on the rebound. Rennie missed the shot again. Good block that time by Byron Defoe.
And a holding.
Now we're going to have a Delcourt and Holland whack at each other. I don't know whether they're both going to get penalties or not, but Jakes comes over to tell Holland to knock it off.
I think the wind was knocked out of Delcourt as well for the Americans.
Boy, holding his midsection, he can hardly climb over the boards back into the box. Now the referee motioning at people. They're calling Delcourt back. He'll have to serve a penalty.
I think they want Holland back in the penalty box over here for Portland, and they are getting him back out here.
Well, I think Delly's got to go too.
I think you're right. I think we're going to go too.
Yep. And it'll be, we'll have to wait and get the exact call, but Holland and Delcourt won't change the power play situation. Penalty comes at 2:53. And they're explaining it to everybody here. We'll get Kevin Gallant's call as soon as he turns up the, or as soon as they get the information from the off-ice officials. It'll be concurrent penalties to Holland and Delcourt. And Biofor also is going to go.
Interesting.
Spenrath is still in there. All right. Biofor also penalized, also at 2:53. Portland will lose a man. That will end the power play, I think. Let's wait and see. Could be 4-on. Yeah, it's going to be 4-on-4, so that'll end the power play. Portland 1 for 6 on power plays. Great penalty killing by the Americans. The Americans will have a brief power play when the penalty to Spenrath is over. We still haven't had the official announcements, but right now, both teams 4-on-4. Portland wins the draw, comes out into the blue line, taken by Graham. Graham up quickly. Graham, a shot. Deflected by Krause. Good D work by Krause. Here come the Americans, 2-on-2. Barnes around time. Barnes checked off the puck, but he keeps his skates. Barnes going in on Defoe. Backhand! And Defoe blocked it at the 5-hole. Barnes with it. Barnes on the corner. Barnes and Kwiatkowski digging for the puck. Barnes has it out to Sherstenka. Sherstenka feeds a pass on the right to Jakes, but he loses the puck. Back to Jakes. Good defensive work by Leahy of Portland that time. Now the Americans, Kwiatkowski, a slap shot. Blocked by Defoe, and it goes down.
Point blank.
It was. Kwiatkowski could have blown that right through Byron Defoe.
Here are the penalties.
15, Dennis Holland, 2 minutes for slashing, and to number 11, Tad Deofor, 2 minutes for slashing. The Tri-City Americans, number 10, Greg Delcourt, 2 minutes as well for slashing.
Well, what happened is they were all over there whacking each other on the wrist with a stick. Three players go, 2 for Portland, 1 for the Americans. And the puck slid right in front of the Portland net on the faceoff. Defoe bats it away, and it goes to Hamish Black. Hamish Black, a drive, and Krause smothered it. Ouch, he got hurt.
That definitely.
That's smarted. Back up to Jorgensen. Jorgensen They slide it down the slot as Moore tried to slide it in there. Goes to the boards. We'll have a whistle. Played off a high stick.
And Krauser's still hurt. He's limping around. He's going to have to shake that one off. Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, he took that one right on the ankle bone, and in comes Kelly Kutowitz as Rob Kraus will skate to the bench. That had to smart big time.
When you get a puck flying at about 80 miles an hour and you take it right in the shin bone, I don't know too many people that would get up and smile about it.
Nope, Kraus is tough, but he's not that tough.
Yeah, he's heading down to the locker room.
He's going to go to the locker room, and trainer Jim Craig will go after him. Jim Craig is also the goalie coach for the Americans. Tri-City's winning the draw. It's 4-on-4. Here comes Catcher. Catcher ahead to Duval. Duval losing the puck, but he gets it across the blue line, back into neutral ice. Here comes Portland now. Hamish Black. Hamish Black with it. As Catcher tries to sweep check it, is slid in front of the net. Ferland is wiped out, but by his own players. It's tied up along the boards. Big hit there on Duval. Duval and Hamish Black will have to even that score later. Puck comes out to the corner. Kutowitz with it. Cutter for the Americans. Shoots a pass to Duval. Duval has it stolen away by Jorgensen. They dump it back into the Americans' end. Tri-City's on the power play now. They have about 25 seconds remaining. Puck goes ahead to Murray Duval. Duval, cross ice. Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski with it. Splits the defenders. 1-on-3 though. Kwiatkowski will have to wait for help. Has it kicked away from him by Portland. Now Kutowitz going after it. Gets it to Kwiatkowski. Into the Americans. Into the Portland end. Goes in behind the Portland goal. Raymond, but it's stopped at the point. But Nibs knocks it back into neutral ice to Kutowitz. Cutter getting it in.
One of the penalties
Kutowitz
expired.
shoots it around the corner. Power plays over. Portland with the puck as it came around to Jamie Graham. Graham stolen by Barnes. Barnes with it. Barnes centers it up for Jakes. Jakes slides it into the slot. Nibs almost had a chance with it there, but it's blocked by Defoe. Goes out along the boards. Barnes with it. Stu Barnes evades a big hit. Gets to Nibs. Nibs, Kwiatkowski, but Thudium is there for Portland. Calvin, it isn't Thudium, it's Fleetwood. Fleetwood checked off the puck. Here come the Americans to Barnes. Barnes from Kwiatkowski. Barnes with it, loses it now to Graham. Graham gets it left to Bayafor. Bayafor, 3-on-2. Bayafor beats his man. Kraus goes after it. Leaves it behind now for Kwiatkowski. Portland with it. They center it to Jorgensen. He skates in, shoots by Ferland, and it's deflected by Ferland, the magician. Back out to neutral ice. Barnes.
Nice play.
1-on-1. Here comes Barnes.
What stick handling?
The Kraus shot! Smothered by Defoe.
Stu Barnes and his stick handling magic again right at the top of the blue line. Took a pass in at about 40 feet over to Rob Kraus. Rob Kraus at about 30 feet out. And we've got a little excitement going on down there at the other end.
As Murray Duval, and I'm not sure who Duval wanted a piece of there. I don't think anything's going to come of it, but
what a pass to Rob Kraus. Oh, Stu Barnes. Stu Barnes is a magician as well with a stick.
And Kraus had made Byron Defoe work for his living. Made him earn his supper on that shot because that was a hard wrist shot just from the left of the Portland goal off of Defoe's right hand or his stick hand.
Rob Kraus doesn't have any goals this season, but that one right there was that comes right off the where he just hurt his leg too. So obviously the leg is feeling a lot better.
Well, I'm sure they went down, got a little ice on it or a little spray freeze and got that taken care of. As Olaf Kolzig said, this building makes great goalies out of good goalies. For some reason, he's not sure why, but face-off just outside the Portland blue line. LeBrun to take the draw. LeBrun wins it. Gets it in toward the Portland goal and can't chase it down. Comes out to Raymond. Raymond shoots it into the Tri-Cities end. Both teams at full strength. Portland leading 3-1. Ferland slaps it out, but it's knocked down by Clouston. Clouston tries to get around Kutowitz. Can't do it. LeBrun with it. Here come the Americans. 3-on-2. LeBrun. LeBrun across the blue line. Tries to get it to Spinrath. He's tied up. Back out to neutral ice. Kutowitz. Kutowitz over to Catcher. Trent Catcher. Catcher goes ahead to Duval. Duval to Kutowitz. Bad pass, and Duval had to chase it down. Duval comes back with it. Murray Duval ahead to Spinrath. Slides in front of the Portland goal. Defoe plays it out, but it went off the skates of Thudium. Now LeBrun with it. Brunner centers for Spinrath. He missed. And it goes to LeBrun. Good work by Defoe in the goal. Spinrath has it taken away by Clouston. Shoots it back into neutral ice. And Kutowitz will chase it down for the Americans.
Line change for Portland.
And we have a whistle. Elbowing. And Spenrath will take the heat for that one.
And he's not happy with himself on that one, obviously.
Time of the penalty, 6 minutes and 56 seconds.
Penalty comes at 6:56 of the period. No score in the period. Each team, Portland scoring twice in the second to take a 3-2 lead.
Those kind of percentages, you know, you score twice in the second period off only 4 shots on goal.
Well, they were quality shots. There's any question about that.
That's what you like.
Penalty killers for the Americans. Rennie, Delcourt with Jakes and Krause. For Portland, it's Holland to take the draw. Tri-Cities wins it. Comes out to Jakes. Jakes with the puck. Takes it behind the net. Whips it around the boards into the neutral zone. And Portland will have to chase it back into their own end. Back is Roy Mitchell. 12:52 to play. The Americans can still win this one, but they're going to need some help to get things going. Holland with it in the neutral zone. Holland tries to split the defenders, slides it off on the left, centered. Ferland covers it up.
Whoa.
As Terry Black slid it in from the left side. Another great job by Ferland the Magician.
Steve Rennie took out his man, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. It's a good thing that Ferland was awake and stopped that puck. We'd have a 4-1 game right now.
We sure would. 3-1 the score. Tri-Cities leading the Portland, or Tri-Cities trailing the Portland Winterhawks. Tri-Cities 6 wins, 13 losses. Portland 13 wins, 4 losses, and a pair of ties. It'll be Leahy against Rennie. Dogger wins the draw. Americans with it. Krause shooting it, or McNutt rather, shooting it out into the neutral zone. Portland's Moore back for it. Moore goes left now to Mitchell. Mitchell gets it ahead to Gray Eyes. Mark Gray Eyes off the boards, around behind the Americans' net. Ferland there. Ferland shoots it out, but Portland knocks the pass down. Puck goes around behind the net. Out in front, Ferland comes out to cover it. Oh, he had to just dive on that one as Krause had to take Leahy to the boards.
And Frank's going, hey guys, let's get it down at the other end, huh?
Minute 11 to go in the Portland power play. 12:15 to play in the third period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. The Americans and the Portland Winterhawks. Winterhawks leading 3-1. Minute 11 to play. Saturday night, the Americans in Kamloops to take on the Blazers. The Blazers on a much smaller rink. The Blazers losing to Portland last night in Portland. Big time. Americans win the draw. Shot out to the point, but kept in play by Biofor. Biofor gets it to Holland. Holland into the slot. Back out to Biofor. The Americans smothered one shot. Biofor with it. Leaves it behind now. Goes to Holland. Holland down low. He goes on the right to Troy Mick. Mick tried to shoot it back up to Raymond, and it goes out of play. We'll have a whistle.
Those were some very good passes right there. Well-coached team by Portland, as a matter of fact.
Well, Ken Hodge, a decent hockey player in his own right.
That's right.
And he has these Winterhawks ready to play. 11:56 to go in the hockey game. 3-1. Portland leading the Americans.
Frank is doing a little bit of adjusting on his equipment down there.
Yeah, getting a little help from Steve Jakes. Now Jakes goes over to the bench, and they may ask. Nope, Jakes just coming off the ice. 5-on-4. Portland with a man advantage on the penalty to Spenrath. Kwiatkowski winning the draw for the Americans, and it goes back into the Portland end. Portland with the puck. Winterhawks has their pass knocked down by Kwiatkowski. Catcher is there, and he belts it the length of the ice. Goes back down to the Portland end. Biofor in for it. McNutt crunches him into the boards. Comes around to Dennis Holland. Holland behind the back pass to Troy Mick. Mick shoots it across the ice for Biofor. Chad Biofor back now to Raymond. Rick Raymond with it for Portland. Gets it ahead to Holland. Nice pass to Holland. Holland centered it right in front of the net, but the Americans strip it away from Terry Black and shoot it the length of the ice. Great D work in front of Frank Ferland.
Line changes for both teams right now.
9 seconds to play in the penalty. Dirksen stealing the puck, and it's an offsides call as Dirksen started in before Fry could clear the zone. 4 seconds remaining on the penalty to Spenrath. 11:08 to play in the hockey game.
Coach Hodge is over there kind of just rubbing his face going, Guys, we've got to convert on these power plays.
Portland 1 for 7 on power plays. They scored on their third one, and not since. Dirksen with Kutowitz and Fry, along with Catcher, the penalty killers. Dirksen winning the draw, takes it into the Portland end. Dirk in after it, and the power play is over. Big check into the corner, and now we have a whistle as the puck's frozen. Spinrath comes out of the penalty box, and Trevor Sen comes into the game.
Rick Fry's over there, a little verbal abuse, you might say.
Tell you, you don't want to mess with him because he can mix it up. Although he's protecting a very sore chin.
That's right.
He fell on a skate in Seattle a couple of weeks ago and lost about a pound of meat off the end of his chin. Americans win the draw. Catcher fans on the pass. Goes to Raymond. To Graham. Graham in the right side. Graham with it. Slides it up in front of Furlan. Furlan comes out for it. Can't get the puck.
Good play by Fry.
And Dirksen, or Sen, steals it. Sen, a breakaway. Goes to Dirksen, and Dirk can't keep his feet. Trevor Sen goes in after it. Sen with it. Tried to center it to Fry. Holland takes it back for Portland. It goes to Graham. Graham ahead. A drive down the slot. Rebound comes out from Furlan. Furlan covered up and blocked it. It goes into the neutral zone. 10 minutes to play in the hockey game. Portland with the puck. Graham. Jamie Graham shoots it across the ice, and it's stolen by the Americans. Here comes Catcher. Trent Catcher goes in. Catcher banned on the shot. Left it behind for Meiden. Scott Meiden for Portland. Meiden for Graham. Now it's dumped over onto the boards for where Jakes has it for the Americans. Jakes up the left side. Jakes shoots, and it's blocked by Dave Foe. Into the corner it goes. Here comes Portland. Jorgensen with it. Passes ahead now to Sean Clouston. Clouston has it stolen away by Krause. Loose puck in the neutral zone to Barnes. Barnes is hooked down. A whistle.
We got a penalty for sure on that one.
And the penalty will come as Barnes was hooked. Tripped rather by Portland. Hook, trip, whatever you want to call it. Used the stick to just upend Stu Barnes. Sean Clouston taking the penalty, and it comes at 10:19 of the period. Or check it wasn't Clouston, it was Jamie Graham, I'm sorry. Number 27. Graham taking the penalty. 2 minutes for tripping. The Americans get a power play, their first of the period, 7th of the game. Americans need to convert this power play. They've moved Sean LeBrun out to the point, hoping to get a little bit more control on the puck, and it seems to have worked. Brunner's also big enough that he can play as a defenseman if he needs to. Puck kicked behind by Holland as Portland wins the draw on the power play, but it comes to Jakes in neutral ice. Jakes to Barnes. Here goes Stu Barnes. Feeds it off right to Kwiatkowski. Back for Nibbs. Nibbs. Jakes. Shot! Deflected wide of the goal by Defoe. Back up to LeBrun at the point. LeBrun starts to slide it in. His pass stolen away by Biafor. Biafor gets it ahead to Mick. Troy Mick for Portland, and he'll slide back into the neutral zone. Barnes goes back after it as the puck goes into the Portland end. Barnes, a great hit. Here's Nibbs with the puck. Barnes and Jorgensen. Jakes down the slot. Kicked by Kwiatkowski. Almost went in. Kwiatkowski goes after it along with Nibbs. Nibbs back out to Jakes. What a hit by Barnes. LeBrun. LeBrun, big slap shot. Loose in the slot, and Defoe goes out after it.
Great goaltending by Defoe right there.
Kwiatkowski now and Jorgensen take a look at each other. Jorgensen came back and speared Barnes for that big hit. 6,150. A sellout for the Tri-City Americans. The second one in 3 games. A minute 14 remaining in the penalty to Sean Clouston. Remember, the Americans play Sunday night against the Regina Pats. Now Barnes doing a little bit of directing here as they'll face off to the right of the Portland goalie. Barnes gets chased out, and Rennie comes in to take the draw. Rennie, Spinrath, and Barnes, the line. Spinrath chases in behind it as it goes behind the net. Back in after it is Barnes as Mitchell fanned on it. Barnes and Spinrath digging at the puck. It comes out to Jakes. Jakes slides it in for Rennie, goes wide of the net. Barnes with it. Stu Barnes out on the wing now. Barnes to the left of the net. Barnes to LeBrun to Jakes. Back to Barnes. Great pass. Barnes with it as he starts down. into the corner, comes back up to the wing now. Goes to LeBron. LeBron back to Barnes. Barnes, a slap shot. Blocked by Defoe. Great stick save by Byron Defoe. As Spinrath ties it up now. Rennie has it. Rennie back to Barnes. Barnes back out to LeBron. LeBron, a slap shot. Wide of the net to the right side. And it went high. Maiden and Rennie in after it. Barnes now for the Americans. Stu Barnes tries to backhand it. It won't go. Rennie takes a whip at it. 19 seconds remaining in the power play.
Great attacking here.
Barnes and LeBron, the Americans, some big shots. Out into the slot. Portland stealing a pass. Sticks away, and it's loose back into the Tri-Cities end.
Mike Moore is an unbelievable defensive player down there.
He's done a great job.
Defoe's got to love him.
LeBron comes out. Barnes, LeBron, and Delcourt as the penalties over to Portland. Big hit by Duval. Big open ice check as Kutowitz goes in after the puck. It'll be icing, and Cutter touches it for icing.
You know, Kirk, I was watching down there in the slot and in the crease area. Mike Moore for Portland pushing and shoving around Spinrath, and that's what it takes. It takes a good-sized defensive player like that to get down there, push some people around. And Defoe just, you know, you got to buy him a beverage after that.
Yeah, he's done it. Moore has really done a great job. And Defoe has made some brilliant saves tonight.
That's what it takes to be a championship club.
Well, and Portland certainly has had it. Off the draw, it goes toward the net, but Portland has it. 3-1 Portland. The Americans not connecting on that big power play opportunity. Portland bringing it in. It's shot across in front of the net. Going into the corner. Winterhawks have it. It is Terry Black to Holland. Holland tried to center it. Comes back out to neutralize. Jorgensen runs it down for Portland. Penalty coming up against Tri-Cities.
Yes, it is.
Slide across the crease, and Delcourt slaps it out of play.
High sticking.
High sticking the call. It will go against the Americans. See who the guilty party is. It is Delcourt.
Getting the stick a little bit too high there, and that's dangerous too. And that's one of the most dangerous positions to be in, is when that stick is up above your shoulders. Heads are flying through there. It could get real easy to cut somebody.
Penalty comes at 12:59. The rule is you're supposed to keep that stick down below your shoulders. Face off to the left of Ferlin the Magician. Frank looking on. Taking the face off, Leahy against Kwiatkowski. Leahy's father was at one time offered the job of director of player personnel for the Americans. Puck goes down into the corner. Sean Leahy as the puck shot down to the Portland end. It goes in behind the net. Mitchell leaves it. Mitchell out now to Hamish Black. Hamish Black back to Mitchell. Goes to the right side to Mike Moore. Stolen away by Kwiatkowski and shot back into the Portland end.
Galvin Nibb bit the ice out at center ice, and he's looking for a penalty.
He's not going to get it. Up comes Hamish Black in a hurry. Hamish Black checked off the puck. Jakes dumps it back out into the neutral zone. Nibbs can't believe it. Left behind now. Mitchell back to Raymond. Raymond shoots it off the boards. The Americans have it, and Krause flips it down into the Portland end.
Great penalty killing.
Minute 11 to go. The Americans killing off a big penalty. Puck stolen by the Americans. Fry shoots it for Dirksen right across the slot, but Dirksen couldn't get wood on it.
Caught him in a line change.
Portland with the puck now behind the net. Raymond pass to Holland. Holland goes left to Mitchell. Seems like Mitchell's always on the ice. Mitchell ahead to Terry Black. Black with it in the corner, and bang! Catcher just nailed him. Dirksen out to slap it back into neutral ice. What a hit by Catcher. Goes in the corner now. Mike Moore for Portland along the boards. Portland's Holland chasing it on. He goes in on Ferlin. Shoots, and it's deflected up onto the dashboard behind the net. Dirksen just pastes Holland, and it's shot back into the Portland zone. Oh, Dirksen and Rick Fry putting some world-class hits on Dennis Holland.
Ken Hodge is just pacing behind his bench. He's going, what's it going to take, guys?
13 seconds to go. Portland with a great power play, but not tonight. They are 1 for 7. Now here comes Holland. Holland, 6 seconds left in the penalty. Goes into the corner. It goes to Black. Puck around the dashboards behind the net.
Done.
Penalty's over. Barnes with it. Barnes for Delcourt. And the Winterhawks take it back. Now in for it is Kutowitz. A drive! Kutowitz, and it's blocked.
We have an offside penalty, delayed offside.
Oh, Kutowicz taking a big drive from outside the blue line. Greg Spenrath will be the first guest on our post-game show tonight. 3-1 to score. The Americans playing very well.
They certainly are, and as a matter of fact, in 2-goal games this year, the Americans are 1 win and 3 losses. In 1-goal games, they're 3-1.
Barnes against LeBrun, with LeBrun and Spenrath, against Maiden with Fleetwood and Graham. Americans dump it into the Portland end, but the Winterhawks steal it back in the slot. Portland with it. They shoot it into neutral ice, and Jakes has it for the Americans. Jakes bringing it up for Tri-Cities, dumping it into the Portland end, goes around behind the Portland goal. In after it is Barnes. Barnes and Spenrath. Spinner gets it, centers it for LeBrun, and LeBrun can't get it. Jakes a drive, and it's covered up by Defoe.
Jakes is going,
what does it take?
Exactly. That puck had to have been traveling at 90 miles an hour. That was a great slap shot.
Good night, Irene. Byron Defoe is a good goalie. He's been a great goalie tonight. Trevor Kidd is a great goalie. He was unconscious Tuesday night.
We've had some real good goaltending in the last few games. We can't forget about Frank Furlan. He's doing a great job tonight, too.
The thing about Furlan is you expect him to be good, and he always is. Well, the fans trying to start that wave. Something needs to happen here. The line of Barnes, LeBrun, and Spenrath is in. That's the scoring line to Spenrath. A drive wide of the, or LeBrun wide of the net. Puck shot back in by Krause, stolen away by Portland. The Winterhawks get it 2-on-2. Goes up to Leahy. Leahy checked off the puck, and back goes LeBrun for the Americans. Here comes Sean LeBrun. LeBrun shoots a pass right for Barnes. Goes into the corner. Barnes lines up Biofor. Big hit on Biofor. And here come the Portland Winterhawks as Hamish Black goes back to get the puck. 3-on-3. Hamish Black, a drive wide of the net. Goes down in the corner. Rebound comes way back out now to Barnes. Barnes with it. Hooked down from behind. Has it stolen by Leahy. Leahy loses it off of Krause's skates. Leahy gets it back. Leahy with it to Dennis Holland. Holland loses it to Krause. Now Barnes with it along the boards. Nibbs takes it off his stick. Calvin Nibbs checked off the puck and upended by Terry Black. Portland Winterhawks shoot it into neutral ice. It goes to Mick. Troy Mick, 1-on-2.
We got a player down in the net down there.
Down in the net as Kwiatkowski just hammered somebody, and I didn't see exactly what happened.
Looks like Kevin Jorgensen is down, and we've got time here.
Time called as Portland looking for a whistle. I don't think we're going to get it. I think Kwiatkowski stayed back there to straighten Jorgensen out. Jorgensen has been a busy boy tonight.
He certainly has. These guys are in such tremendous shape.
Isn't that something?
You know, during the offseason, most of these players take up stuff like baseball and golf and tennis, and they stay in year-round shape. You almost have to, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Off the ice comes Jorgensen. The thing about Kevin Jorgensen is he has been all over the ice tonight, and he's also taken probably the majority of the cheap shots for Portland. And I think Kwiatkowski just stayed back there basically with the idea of pointing out to Mr. Jorgensen that enough of that was enough.
And I think we got the wave going again.
Yeah, we do. Here it goes. On the faceoff. Portland wins the draw, and they shoot it around behind the Americans' net. All the way around, left to right. Back forward is Nibbs. Calvin Nibbs for Tri-Cities. Nibbs gets it ahead now to Rennie. Rennie chasing it along the boards. Rennie with it. Loses his stick. Picks up the stick, and Holland has the puck for Portland. Comes out along the boards, back to the neutral zone.
The Americans got to get something going now.
2:51 to go. 3-1, Portland leading. Calvin Nibbs. Nibbs with a puck, checked off it. There's Kutowicz to shoot it in. Portland with it now. The Winterhawks have it. Chipped out into the neutral zone, but it goes to Catcher. Catcher for the Americans to Kutowicz. Kutowicz ahead for Nibbs. Stolen out of there by Biofor. Biofor as they try to get it into the Tri-Cities end, and a whistle. It will be offsides against Portland. Well, you can score a couple of goals in 2:29, but you got to do it quick, and you got to start now.
That's right. You know, if they came out, the intensity was there when they first came out. I've seen it kind of die down a little bit, but Portland seemed to be picking up a little bit of that intensity. So,
yep.
It's kind of...
I'll tell you, this Portland Winterhawk team is a great hockey team.
Yes, they are. Very good hockey team. Well coached.
Maiden wins the draw, but it goes right to Jakes. Jakes tried to get him. Biden steals in the slot. Shoots on Furlan, and he scores.
And he deserves that one right there.
Yep, he sure does.
A beautiful sweep check, picked his pocket, and Frank Furlan is going, I need some help, guys.
Well, you get a guy one-on-one with a goalie, and he's got to score. He's going to score 50% of the time or more.
That's right.
Maiden doing a great job to steal the puck from the Americans defenseman, and a couple of quick strides, and he's all over Frank Furlan like a rash.
That's a coached move right there.
Beautiful move by Scott Maiden. 4-1, Portland. The Americans having to take some chances. Barnes loses the draw now, and Mitchell has it for Portland. Shoots it along the boards, but back is Scherstenka. Scherstenka tried to get it to Barnes. Spenrath has it instead. Takes a hit from Mitchell. Roy Mitchell with the puck. Back into the neutral zone, but Scherstenka has it for the Americans. Scherstenka gets it into the Portland end. Dan Scherstenka.
There it is.
To Spenrath. Their shot blocked. Holy cow, blocked by Defoe. And
we got a fight going on down here.
Scherstenka still got his stick, and he's ready to take a piece of more. Dan Scherstenka takes him right to the ice, or Mitchell rather. Scherstenka got shoved by Mitchell for the last time. Dan Scherstenka,
they're really going ahead.
5'10", maybe 170 pounds if he's soaking wet with his skating gear on.
And we got another one going on. Here's Spenrath.
Now Spenrath and Mike Moore are ready. This will be a good one. Scherstenka still chirping away. Now Spenrath and Moore. Moore and Spenrath. Moore gets a couple of hits on Spenrath's shoulder. Spenrath trying to get Moore loose of his jersey. Moore gets in a pop in Spenrath's ear, a couple to the back of the head. Spenrath trying to tie him up now. Oh, Moore got in a good hit that time.
That was a good one there.
Spenrath looped one in over the top of his head. Spenrath, another good hit on Moore. Now he's getting Moore's jersey pulled up.
That's an old trick you learn. You pull it up and they can't do anything.
Oh, right cross. He really popped Moore that time. Another good hit. Another good one by Spenrath.
They're letting him air it out.
The big guy wants a big piece of Moore. Oh, he got him again. Couple of good shots right on the ear. Spenrath winning this one on points now. And the linesmen dive in as Spenrath is really pounding on Moore.
They don't want to let go.
Now they finally let go. Moore is dead tired.
He certainly is.
And Spenrath says, hey, I'm ready for some more. Anytime, guys.
There's a couple of tired boys. They're heading off to the showers. That's
Moore,
it for them.
Spenrath, Scherstenka.
You know, some of the Tri-City people don't understand why the referees allow them to fight. You have to let these people fight because they're dealing with skates and sticks out here that could really injure somebody. It's a very fast game, and they let them go at it to kind of air it out. They have to do that. Otherwise, there could be a lot of injury out here.
Yeah, I think so, too. Fighting really keeps the sticks and skates out of it.
Exactly.
And Scherstenka and Mitchell going to the penalty box when the other fight started. Now they're both escorted off the ice. Everybody gets 5 minutes for fighting. What we don't know is, will there be other penalties? Jamie Graham, the Portland captain, over to talk with the referee, hoping that maybe he can collect a couple more penalties. But we'll just have to wait and see. And while they sort it out, we'll take time out. 30 seconds on this KOTY Americans hockey broadcast.
Around the world in 30 minutes, this is Headline News.
From the company that created CNN, the Headline News Network. Watch your watch, then watch business news 8 minutes into every half hour.
It's time now for Headline Business News. On Wall Street today, the market closed at a new high.
Watch the Headline News Network 8 minutes into every half hour for the latest business news. Business news on Headline News. Always on time.
Back at Tri-Cities Coliseum, we saw a couple of pretty good fights there, Tony. First, Dan Scherstenka taking on a much bigger player in Roy Mitchell and doing pretty well. Mitchell's almost 200 pounds. He's 6'1". Scherstenka stands about 5'10", maybe. 170 pounds, and he got a big piece of Mitchell. Then the heavyweight bout, and that was a good heavyweight bout between Spenrath and Mike Moore.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. In the first one, Dan looked like he was really pretty much taunting Mr. Mitchell, and then Dan started in and took care of business. And boy, the Mike Moore, Greg Spenrath fight. What can you say about that? The big boys.
Yeah, those two fight. They ought to bring out a ring and round cards. Here comes the announcement.
To the Portland Winterhawks, number 6, Roy Mitchell, 5 minutes for fighting. To number 5, Mike Moore, 5 minutes for fighting and a game misconduct. And also to Portland, a bench minor penalty.
Ooh.
For the Tri-City Americans, to number 5, Danny Sherstenka, 2 minutes for instigating and a 5-minute fighting major. To number 27, Greg Spenrath, a 5-minute fighting major, a 10-minute misconduct, and a game misconduct. And to the Americans, a 2-minute bench minor. Once again, time of the penalties, 18 minutes and 6 seconds.
Did you get that all down, Kirk?
Yeah, I got it all down. And when you sort it all out, they come out even.
That's about it. Good way
well, no, wait a minute. Sherstenka's penalty is up there. Okay, that's the extra penalty. Sherstenka getting the extra penalty. Portland will have a power play.
They have a bench minor as well.
Portland has a bench minor being served by Fleetwood. For Tri-Cities, LeBrun will serve one penalty and Duval the other. So it's going to be, well, it's still going to be,
it'll be power play Portland.
Power play Portland will be 5-on-4. LeBrun and Duval serving penalties for the Americans. Serving the bench minor for Portland is Brent Fleetwood. Now LeBrun coming back out of the box. But it'll still be 4-on-4.
I think there's less than 2 minutes. I think he's just going to head to the showers.
Yep. 4-1. The Tri-City Americans trailing Portland on Myden's unassisted goal. He did a great job. A clean breakaway, and I don't think Portland had much of a chance on that shot.
No, there wasn't.
Dirksen loses the draw to Hamish Black. Hamish Black gets it out to Jorgensen. Jorgensen back to Jamie Hamish Black. Around behind the net goes Hamish Black. Portland on the power play. Here comes Hamish Black. Hamish Black with it up the left wing boards to the right of Furlan. Out to the blue line. It goes to Jorgensen. Jorgensen left by a 4. Back to Jorgensen. Shot blocked by Furlan. Furlan just caught it in his
we got
glove.
another fight going on.
This will be a good one. Jakes and the linesman trying to break it up as Jakes just dumped Leahy. Well, Jakes is going to get, I think, a cross-checking penalty here as he really belted Sean Leahy, or Greg Leahy, rather.
Well, and if he got down there in that corner with all those fans, what a mess that'd have been. Look at the people down there. This is what they like. They like to see a rowdy, tough.
Well, good night. Jakes and Kraus both. There was a lot of activity going on. A penalty comes at 18:30 of the period. A double penalty to the Tri-Cities. Jakes and Kraus. Now what are we going to have here? Well, Rennie will come back on the ice.
Penalty to the Tri-City Americans, number 2, Rob Kraus, 2 minutes for elbowing. And to number 4, Steve Jakes, 2 minutes for roughing. Time of the penalties, 18 minutes and 30 seconds.
You hear Kevin Gallant, the public address announcer, making the announcements of the penalties. The Americans with 3 players in the box, which leaves Portland with a 5-on-3. That's how it works.
Here we have a breakaway.
Here comes the breakaway. Rennie, shot, block. What a job by Byron Defoe. Rennie being molested on the breakaway by the stick of Chad Biafor. But Rennie has been a one-man gang killing penalties the last few games.
Yes.
Double minors against Kraus and Jakes.
2-on-1.
Well, 2-on-1. A shot blocked by Furlan. Big shot taken there by Hamish Black. Goes into the corner. It's 5-on-3. Portland as Rennie chases the puck back into the neutral zone. Portland back with it. Hamish Black now. Jamie Hamish Black for the Portland Winterhawks. on the penalty to Jakes wouldn't start to be counted down until after the penalty to Scherstenka runs out. You're not allowed, you can't be penalized more than two players at a time. Portland with it in the Tri-City zone. Slides it left. Meiden shot blocked. Good defensive play underneath as Kutowicz shoots it back into the neutral zone.
Nice leg kick by Frank Furlan right there.
22 seconds remain as Delcourt steals it, tries to flip a shot in on Defoe and can't do it as he's muscled off the play by Jorgensen. Good job by Kevin Jorgensen. Still more chirping going on out there.
You know what I like to see is the fans here. There are some of them that are heading to the exits, but the majority of everybody is sticking around until the final horn is blown.
Yeah, they're staying right here and having a good time, too. 14 seconds remaining in the game. The game out of reach for the Americans here. 4-1 the score. Portland leading the Tri-City Americans, but they have worked very hard tonight.
That's right, and I'm going to be real surprised on the shots on goal. I know the Americans have definitely outshot Portland tonight.
5-3, 5-on-3. Portland with the advantage. Raymond off the draw. 10 seconds remaining. Puck goes into the Americans' end, but Furlan comes out to play it from the corner. Furlan shoots it along the boards. Back out to neutral ice. Back for it is Raymond, and time runs out. That's the end of the hockey game. The Portland Winterhawks beating the Tri-City Americans by a score of 4-1. A tough loss for the Americans. Don't forget, coming up will be our post-game show featuring Greg Spinrad. Next action for the Americans on Saturday night, 7:15 from Kamloops, British Columbia, as the Americans take on the Blazers. That's our broadcast for tonight. We'll be back with the post-game show coming up.